Okay, and
I mean, I
we're
fell
live.
through.
This should be us on actual stream now. Hopefully, if we're
Hello.
professional. Oh, we are. There we go. Now,
Oh,
there should be audio. If no one can hear audio, that's my fuck up. It's a usual fuck up, so please inform us if you can't hear audio. Other than that, welcome to our weekly game, or bi-weekly, I should say, game of Greydrop City. We're going to be missing a couple players. We're going to be getting another player at some point today. We've got a brand new player. Lots of shit's happening. But I think it's fair enough to say, Stan, take it away with the sponsor, not sponsor.
ladies and gentlemen, first of all, it's not a sponsor, it's a sponsor. We are sponsored by every axe. Ladies and gentlemen, if you ever need anything done right, get an axe. This is a miniature axe, it's also a hammer, but I would prefer the axe side. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have someone in your life that you don't like, you can cut them out. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have something in the way, you can cut it down. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're just out of cutlery, get a small axe like this. It's very useful. I unironically used it to open a can of undisclosed drink earlier. That's not sponsorship. They can reach out if they want one. Ladies and gentlemen, get an axe.
Claps.
Thank
Claps in the
you.
chat.
Thank you.
Excellent. Dion's shouting at me for not wearing headphones.
That's
so
not what I was shouting about. It's like if they can if
he forgets he's on camera, so everyone's just watched him silently go.
I know. Isn't like if we can hear them off this, is the mic not picking up their voices and causing an echo?
We've had no complaints thus far.
Fuck it then. I don't care.
Yeah, this is
There
the
we go.
technical difficulty stream, guys. So everyone can deal with it. Everyone can deal with it. There we go. Yeah, okay, mods, get on that. Tag us with the technical difficulties and everyone deal with it. Hashtags. So, we join lovely timing for our fantastic sponsor. Speaking of axes and the breaking down of objects and removing them from set paths, last week we had a fantastic episode. I think it's become tradition in our other game for Stan to do the recaps, but I think in this one we will break recap. We will break tradition because we have a brand new player to introduce. So, the camera cuts to a dark, dank corridor. You can see that there is moss on all of the walls. There's the stench of decay all around. That's the tangy scent of like body odor and decay and sweat of people being too close together, of poor sanitary conditions. And what does the camera see as it passes through this corridor, focusing on a hunched figure?
A humanoid, as you say, hunched figure, very much, with a hood on. Yeah, that's I suppose you can't see much of me. I am, yeah, hidden. You've put a lot of pressure on me all of a sudden. I'm terrified. Why have you done this? All of a sudden, I'm terrified. Yeah, it's just a humanoid with greasy black hair and very gaunt face, as we discovered vocabulary yesterday.
Yes.
I'm just making my way through. Yeah, this.
Amazing. And what is this creature in the dark's name?
Torek.
Torek. As the camera focuses on Torek, you're going about your daily business. You are a rat catcher for the local government and for the church. You offer your services to make sure that the city stays clean, make sure that the city stays uncontaminated from the honestly adorable population of the disease-ridden rats that deal around this city. But to you, adorable friends, maybe less dangerous to you, but to others, plague-carrying monsters. Who can tell?
I am used to them.
As the camera focuses on you, you are hearing a little bit of commotion up on the surface. You are hanging around in the sewers where most of the city's waste is transported out through deep water, out through, if you can actually see, it's called Deep Walk on the map. They've got Deep Walk sewers entrance outside the city, basically pumping straight into the river, which flows into the ocean, neatly getting rid of a problem that can be dealt with downstream somewhere else, as most cities tend to do. You hear a bit of commotion upstairs. You poke your head above ground and you start seeing that people are panicking. You can hear bells ringing as the city enters a state of panic. As it does so, your first thought is...
Ah!
What?
Well, I did just finish my
Mhm.
yesterday's shift, and I was supposed to have a day off, but hey, I've been going through my I'm I'm gonna head towards the noise.
You start heading in
Doesn't-
deeper into
yeah.
the city.
There isn't usually that much
Yeah.
commotion, and I am.
The bells are not ringing to denote any kind of time.
Exactly.
You can see that this is some sort of emergency that's happening. Your first thought is go investigate, which is a
Keep
very
an eye.
natural reaction. As you scurry your way through the sewers, getting into the centre of town, coming up a little bit, hunched over, hooded figure in the dank of the sewers, rushing through. You come up.
Moving as far to the corners and in the shadow
Mhm.
as I can to avoid the.
You come up into the city fairly near the Temple of Antara. That is where your day job is, so you're very familiar with that route. It leads right near where the bells would be ringing in the Citadel, maybe a 5-minute walk from there. Nice and easy to get to from there. And you can see that as things are happening, it seems there are a lot of holy men gathering in the courtyard. A lot of very important, high-value people all gathering right in front of the church, seeming to be heading inside in some form of panic. You know a back way into the church if you were to want to investigate further that way. Not many people pay attention to the servants' entrances and exits.
Do I know any area that would be like above or like a good kind of vantage point to?
Yeah, I think it's fairly easy to do. Getting in and out of the rafters are what rats do.
I've got my like. I suppose my rat catching gear isn't that different from my usual.
And
outfit,
as well, it's not uncommon for people to just have their work gear in a sack, especially if you don't have a permanent residence, which I would imagine you don't. It's probably easier to just have your gear on you. So you don your rat catching gear and you start scurrying your way through the inside, through the skeleton parts of the church.
Just doing my job.
Just doing your job. Just moving on. Just observing. Perhaps listening here and there. As you listen, you catch snippets here and there of people panicking, people concerned. You hear that the king is dead. Long live the new king. Holy shit, where's the new king? Someone's kidnapped the new king. As you can see, there are general areas of panic as they realise that they've fully lost track of not just the heir, Harold, but his 2 older brothers who are members of the Kingsguard, the entire Kingsguard, and most of the royal guards, most of the people assigned to guard the inner city castle, have all been off radar. It seems that the church has been left out of some evacuation plan loop. When the bell tolls, the royal family has vanished, and the church has no clue where. Which seems odd, because they seem to have had a plan for dealing with the death of the king, but not for this part. As you watch, they start immediately preparing things like funeral urns, they start preparing things like funeral lights, so you see them going into scrolls, you see them preparing for the funeral of the king, getting together the necessary ingredients to try and revive the king, which is obviously first attempts for a valuable person that died unnaturally. However, it does seem as though something has happened and something is going wrong in that regard. So a funeral is going forward. As things go along, how long do you stay in the rafters?
As long as things are still happening.
Yeah.
I've been working on something for a long time, and
We have a secret guest.
oh,
A guest even I don't know about. My goodness. Oh, it's Jen. She's just not turned on
I
her
was like-
camera or mic. Okay.
I was like, am I the secret guest or is this in game? I was like, I'll not say anything in
No,
case
no,
this is
no.
in game.
This is not in game. A big blue fucking thing popped up on my screen. Yes.
Boredom's there was joined.
So,
Yes.
what you can see is this is also kind of good for Jenna because they're getting a recap of last week sort of through someone
Oh,
else's eyes.
ideal.
So,
yes,
we
I've
just
been working on something for a long time, so I'm not gonna miss
yes,
anything happening. I'm staying as long as
yes.
even the smallest things.
Even the smallest details are noticed by this very observant, very hard-working rat catcher. As the camera refocuses, it's about 8 hours later. You've
Damn.
slept in this
Yeah.
position, which is not uncomfortable for you, really.
No.
It's dry, it's warm.
I've been
No
walking
one
on
seems
the
to have
streets for literally half
Yeah.
my life.
no one seems to have bothered checking in on you. There's still a lot of fuss going on. It seems that some members of the clergy have somewhat located where the prince might be, thus the new king might be, and that seems to be underground and hiding. Somewhere below this church, as far as they can tell, in the sewer systems, which to you rings a bell of there are a lot of tunnels in this city. And you, perhaps better than most people, would know that this city is not the first city to be built on this exact location. The original foundations of this city were conquered, razed to the ground, and then built back up on top of the bones of that. So there is a good layer of buildings, temples, corridors, whole city streets that are underground, abandoned, and they're now used as sewer systems.
Yeah.
Mostly vacated, mostly picked clean. It's been a good 3-4 centuries since anyone's lived down there. So anything down there is protected heavily, if it is at all even there. But that kind of makes sense to you that the royal family would have some plan to hide somewhere in there. Another 3-4 hours go by and you start seeing people, not just clergymen, not just priests and clerics. You start to see the holy military gear up, which is the paladins and the fighters that have sworn to Antarek and to the wonderful, wonderful church of Antarek. You start seeing a good number of key figures, all armoring up in their bright golden armor with their massive weaponry. And also you start to see the palanquin of the leader of the church. Hang on 1 second as I just bring up all my info. Yes. You start to see the palanquin for the Radiance. The Radiance being the title of the we would go with Pope in our
Right. Okay.
we would go with Pope in our sort of understanding of the way that religion has worked. But his Radiance is usually how he's referred to. You would know him as Trislan. Trislan the Wise is his official title. You also see the top cardinal, Sir Blackwood. He is a very dedicated paladin. He is one of the most powerful paladins that the church has produced in a very long time. And you can also see that Archbishop Gwendolyn Brass is gearing up. She is wearing her full regal attire. She's a spellcaster, but you're not sure how powerful. You've never seen her do much. And you can also see that Archbishop Zuri Foe Cleaver, a dwarf who is also suiting up. They're a paladin, but they seem to be a lot sort of less martial, more spellcasting. Still stocky, still in full plate armor, but in terms of pure fighting capability, Sir Blackwood is one of the most powerful fighters in the city, point blank.
Lovely.
As you can see, all these really key figures all leading up to eventually Trislan the Wise walks out of his chambers into the main area. Trislan, yeah. Walks into the main area and enters onto his palanquin. Before he does so, you are reminded of how he looks in his full regal attire, very well put together. Clearly his servants have dressed him for the occasion. He's got his full clerical attire. You can see a gigantic holy symbol in front of his chest, as well as on the back of his robes, embroidered in pure gold. His holy symbol is that of Antarok, which is a golden sun with 4 rays coming off of it, shining her light into the regal area in front of him. As he gets onto the palanquin, you can also see that there are 4 servants carrying this, so that it's a man-powered palanquin. They've got each of them, one on either corner, and then it's carried on their shoulder. And you watch as they march in turtle formation, paladins all in front in a large U-shape encompassing the palanquin, and then clerics in the back, all marching in force, looking very militaristic. As they start to leave, there are a couple rushed figures, some clerics rushing in, some general clergymen rushing in, basically babbling about how the king has just walked through the doors. They're crowning the new king. No one's invited us to crown the new king. What does this mean? And Trislan bows his head and says, "You must not worry, child. This is all part of the plan."
Right.
As he walks out, do you follow?
Is there a way that I can still staying discreet and
Yeah, you can scurry through the skeleton archives of the not skeleton archives, that sounds way more sinister.
I don't know, you just said this is all part of the plan. You can't get much more sinister.
That's true. What's the word I'm looking for? The skeleton infrastructure of the building, basically the service tunnels of this gigantic
Torture dungeon?
No. Just anywhere the rats
The
would climb.
service tunnel.
The service tunnels. For where they sneak the booze in so that the big Pope boy can't see. You watch as they leave their very beautifully decorated, gilded. This is a full stone carved cathedral that they live in. You would be familiar with the fact that this is not only the area where most people would come to worship, but it's also the area where most of the powerful clergymen live. This is a dual purpose monastery and worshipping area for the general public.
Okay.
As you leave, you watch as they walk through the streets very publicly, very, very publicly, announcing their way as they go, marching in full armor. You can see that they've all cast spells. Instead of using torches, they're all holding essentially reliquaries, you know, the incense burners. But each of them has the light cantrip on them. So not only are they spreading incense as they walk, they're also casting a bright sunlight as they walk. And this is, you're talking 10 a.m. So the sun is still rising, and you can see the bright light even through the fact that the sun is coming up. As you watch, they walk straight in through the central keep, straight in through the walled area that encompasses the keep into the main castle. And you find, again, as you are familiar with the fact that this has servants access to it, the castle has some passages here and there, not guarded, but you're nodded through immediately. They know the rat catcher when they see one.
Cool.
You're not the only rat catcher in the city, but you're a pretty memorable guy. They know who you are. you're nodded in with no fuss. You watch as, when you get into the main throne room, looking over from a balcony perch, you see the camera sort of zooms past through your eye line, giving the bird's eye view of the scene in front of you. You can see that there are all 7 of the King's Guard lined up in this main chamber. Huge gilded walls, huge columns, smooth marble floor with giant stained glass windows on the far side, basically acting as a highlight for the throne in the centre. And on that throne you can see a child of a boy, a 15-year-old kid, scrawny, kind of long black hair, well groomed, seeming to have slept rough the night before, bright golden shining eyes, which you recognise as the marker for who the next king will be. You can see that there are multiple armed figures in the room, and as you're watching, the church has been in here for a couple minutes, maybe at most, as you found where they were inside this castle. You can see that there is an older man standing directly in front of all 30 paladins and clerics, talking up to Tristan the Wise, an old turtle, who is irate, belligerently harassing the man in front of the entire reticule, essentially making claims that Intarak is not as wise as she may be, that this man might not be really representing her, that the king need not answer to the church at all. And this is the first time you've seen this individual. This turtle is very strange, and again, even though that he is, you've heard of turtles, you've probably not seen one before. So this is a gigantic talking turtle that is sort of hunched over because the shell is making him so, belligerently shouting at this Pope. As the Pope puts him in his place, you watch as he is just about to cast a spell in front of this large group of people, as all paladins unsheath their weapons all at once. You see movement from some of the other people in the crowd to go, whether you're sure to join the fight or not, definitely reaching for weapons. You see a large Goliath in the background. Huge man. Easily 7.5 feet tall, gigantic, wide shoulders, narrow waist. Clearly only ever done press-ups as an exercise. And then next to him you see an incredibly stocky orc. Just an absolute brute of a man with nothing but a maul on him. No backpack, no real wealth to look about. You can see that he has got a ring on one tusk and a maul in his hand, not sheathed, fully ready for a fight right now. And then also you can see a couple other key figures who you would be familiar with. You know that Harold is the new king. You would know that his brothers, Tommen and... Edward are his other brothers. Tommen is the oldest, Edward is the middle child. And yeah, they're King's Guard, you would be familiar with them. Edward is probably one of the people that you've interacted with most in the royal family. He sometimes has been known to use the servants' entrances and exits just to kind of escape the city, just to slink off in the dark. And he's ran into you a couple times and seems friendly. Doesn't really pay much attention to you unless you have something to offer him, but doesn't really care. After a small scuffle, in verbal only, you see that the turtle retreats. As he does so, one of the nearby knights, the doors fling open, and walking in is a full retinue of general city guards. And one of these guards comes up to the Goliath and starts berating him for not wearing his armour, screaming at him. This is an incredibly old, wrinkled lady, screaming at him for not wearing his armour. Where has he been? You're supposed to be a squire. Why have you been off cooking? This is irrelevant to your current job. What's going on? And then up comes a very, very well-dressed, incredibly polished armour. Like, think Prince Charming Shrek level hair,
Yeah,
like
cool.
really fluffy as he just like takes his helmet off and then also starts berating Stan, much to the delight of everyone in the court. It seems that this Goliath is somewhat of a punching bag in high society. After a little while, the king is crowned, and the crowds move on. It takes about an hour to do the ceremony. After that, you watch as the orc, the turtle, and the Goliath all start to head in the same direction, accompanied by 2 humans. We cut now to said orc, said Goliath, and although he may not be here, he's here in spirit, Zoak. Lost but never forgotten.
He's in a huff. He's in a huff.
Lost but never forgotten.
Yeah.
Not dead,
Gonna
but we
huff
love him.
people. Yeah, he's not
First
dead.
casualty of war.
First casualty of war, Zoak clutches his heart and goes, fucking church, and dies on the spot.
No, I
Oh,
genuinely
God.
think canonically he's
Hell.
in such a huff at the church that he's just silent
Yeah.
treatment,
Absolutely.
scuffling behind.
Absolutely. Zoak looks pissed that this church has fully interjected to this ceremony, which, in all honesty, from the sound of things, it seems like it was kind of their right to do so. The reason this guy is king at all is that their goddess has chosen this royal family. The regular coronation terms would be that, yeah, the church would be in charge of that. But not this time. For the first time in a long time. As you walk along, you can see that Edward and Aylwin are leading you guys into a separate area. They start to lead you into oddly enough, where the servants' quarters are, so that they can get a private moment with the 2 of you. Or rather with the 3 of you, and then they have a private word with Zoak, and he nods and says, Yes, I'll deliver my goods to the charity, and then we will come back. And he walks off, basically just to give off all the ingredients that he received for his regular city charity work to the organisation that he works for, and then he is going to head straight back here, hopefully for next session.
Here's a turtle. Could be very slow.
Could be very slow. Could be 2 weeks slow. Yes, as this happens, Edward and Aylwin turn to the pair of you. Aylwin speaks up first. Well, guys, this seems to have gone about as well as could be expected. New royalty crowned, new ways to go forward. There is still the matter of who killed the previous king and why he can't be resurrected. I don't suppose you guys would feel invested enough to investigate. And then before you can answer, Jenna, what happens as your character appears?
So I'm just nearest door, whatever entrance you guys have all walked through, or maybe a different door. I don't know if there's any cupboards or anything here. Doesn't really matter.
There's a fully standing wardrobe that's like
Cool, yeah.
Narnia style wardrobe in the corner.
So Narnia style wardrobe, you almost hear like something has fallen over inside the wardrobe, and then the doors kind of swing open. There's a sort of puff of like almost silvery white smoke steam that just kind of puffs out, almost kind of glittery, and I sort of just waft it off and kind of look at you guys and go, morning. Maybe.
Because doors are for people with no imagination. I get it.
Try to decide how much of that process was done in an instant, or has Lubnub launched a hand axe at this cupboard?
You hear a thunk, and then the door swings open, and you immediately see your companion. It's not a deep wardrobe. As soon as the door opens, you see who's in it, and then magical wispy smoke is also appearing.
Slowly puts the hand axe away.
Yeah. Yeah, you watch as Lub fully was just about, like, had it cocked back with an elbow leaning forward, ready to...
Yeah, my morning is mostly directed at Lubnub then. I just, morning!
It's going to be Assassins sometime.
Oh,
You never know. Maybe that's a
It's
doppelganger.
never Assassins.
Maybe that's a doppelganger, and we just need to find out. You'll get them one day, buddy.
I've just had a thought of Lubnub with a mug of coffee that's, instead of "Don't talk to me till I've had my coffee," it's "Don't talk to me till there's assassins." So yeah, Aelwyn looks genuinely puzzled for the first time you've ever seen her confused Lubnub. And you've worked with her for a long time. This is the first time she seems fully perplexed at what's just happened. It's midday actually, but aside from that, you're welcome to join this conversation. Are you aware of what's been going on? I presume you've been off doing valuable recon. The last thing that we heard was that you would be off searching for a solution.
Yeah, I've been otherwise occupied. I've missed what's been going on.
Very
You haven't
well.
missed
Well,
much.
I can catch you up. The new king has been crowned, Harold, first of his name, King of Greydrop City.
Congrats.
Yes, that was our thought exactly. And on that congratulations, we would still like to know how his father died. I don't suppose you have any insight.
I've heard it was an assassination. I've heard that Lubnub's on it. He seems ready.
That is hopefully we are on the same page about that.
Yeah.
She turns to you, Lub, and says, "Well, with the wizard's blessing, I suppose you may get on with your tasks. If I were you, I would start by going to the city's morgue. I believe that there is somewhere in this castle his body is being kept for examination. Might be worth looking at the body, seeing if there's anything to do with that. Failing that, there's also, I suppose you could speak to the King's Guard. Some of them should have been with the King.
I mean, they're pretty useless, but sure.
Yes, well, they are some of the best warriors in the city, so they may have at least an insight."
If they were the best, they would have made it into the Grey.
She sort of ponders. Perhaps there is some logic to that. Edward sort of awkwardly claps his hands together and is just like, "Well, so, off to do your jobs then, guys. There is a small matter. I suppose, technically, your contract has been fulfilled. So I guess I'll pay you, although it does seem as if there was a failure involved. It's not really your fault. Yeah." And he sort of hands each of you a bag of 100 gold, except Lubnub, who he doesn't bother giving anything to. And he'll give... actually, he will give you one, Lubnub, and he'll say, "The turtle, if you wouldn't mind passing this along to him. Just holding for later."
I take it with such a look of disdain aimed at the bag. But it does go into a safe pocket.
And then on that note, Edward and Aelwyn leave the room.
Can I stop them before they leave and just say, before you set off, I think I might have left a ring in someone's pocket. Not actually sure who. Just at some point dropped it, really. Just...
They both check their pockets. No, everything I have on me is mine. Both of them say.
I'm gonna ask Stan, did I leave something with you by mistake? Maybe just dropped it in your pocket? Kind of seems like something I would do.
Stan,
Did you?
as you check, yeah, you've got a back pocket that you've never put anything into that's got a small ring in it. Jenna, you'd like to describe your...
It's quite unassuming. It's just it's a tiny little kind of silvery ring. I just go, yeah, I'm really sorry. Can I have that back,
just
please?
a plain silver band. Doesn't even look
I
like
mean,
it's really made of
sure,
silver.
Sure,
Thank
but
you,
why
thank you.
did I have it?
Oh, I misplaced it. My bad.
If you misplaced it, how did you know it was in my pocket?
Oh, I've done it before.
You've accidentally put your ring in someone's back pocket before?
Yeah. It
I'm gonna
happens.
choose to believe that for my own well-being of mind, but
In the background, just very faintly, you can hear echoing off into the corners, just Staniel! Staniel!
I lean over to Jen's character.
you can-
Oh, this is going to be good.
you
Stick
can-
around for this.
You can all hear
Okay.
someone belligerently screaming in the background Stan's name. She doesn't seem to be getting closer to the door.
well, I've got to go. That's my night calling me. I'll probably be back soon. If not, come by. I'll cook you dinner. I'm just
Is
gonna
your night
run.
part of the King's Guard, by any chance?
Yeah, I'm just gonna leave. I mean,
He
the answer is probably no,
he
but
says yeah.
Okay. Oh, I'm gonna go. Well, if he says yeah, I'm gonna go. Okay, well, maybe we should ask your knight then. Like we were told, we
Yes.
would maybe question the King's
Yes,
Guard.
we
Let's
would
start.
100%
that
talk to
won't be
this woman.
necessary. That won't be necessary. You won't
That's
need
the
to.
best idea you've ever had. We should go
You
talk
won't
to this
need-
woman
You
right now.
won't need to see who she is with. You do not need to see her allegiances. You do not need to
I'm gonna
investigate
walk.
further.
I'm gonna try to walk straight by Stan and just head towards the shouting.
Barricade the door. I'm gonna barricade the door with my body and go, I can't do this. You need to not. Gonna no do that.
Make me an
We'll
athletics
talk to
check,
Harold.
Stan.
Can I try to
Doctor.
slip by him before he
Yeah,
does this?
So he make athletics. You can give me dexterity.
17.
17 as well.
Oh,
What's your dex mod?
+3.
What's your strength, Stan?
+2.
So a 3 beats a 2. Just as you both get a very skillful check, just slinking past you, right under the arm, just at the last minute, you watch as she squirrels through the door.
No, don't. You'll get me in trouble. Go talk to the king.
As-
I'll talk to my
As
knight.
Stan turns around to say that to her, could I then walk up behind Stan and like wrestler, put my arms underneath his and pick him up and start taking him towards this old woman?
Sure, your DC is 17 on athletics.
Let's have a look.
Nope,
see.
14.
No, so your athletics is high enough to not be moved against your will. But as soon as the door is open, you now hear clear as crystal, Staniel! Staniel, where are you?
Let me do this. You'll get me in trouble again. I don't want to be fired. You go talk to Harold or something. Lubnub eat stew. I'm talking to my knight.
I want to go speak to this woman.
I very much want to see you speak to this
As
woman.
you wander through the corridor, you turn a corner and you see the oldest human that you've ever seen in your life. I want you to know that this entity in front of you is wearing full shining plate mail with a two-handed greatsword on her back that she looks as if she could not lift in her even heyday. She is maybe 5'5", built like a stick apart from the fact that she's wearing full plate. Like 18 layers of wrinkle on every area of skin that you can imagine. Light pale tanned skin, long dark hair, not wearing any kind of helmet. And you see she rounds the corner and goes, "You're not Staniel."
I'm gonna try to mirror whoever's like the most authoritative, serious person I've ever seen, which is probably Alwyn.
Yeah.
The king.
I'm gonna try to mirror her like kind of stance and walk, and I'm just gonna go, "Ma'am, hi. Staniel was recruited by Edward. We've been tasked with questioning the King's Guard, and I suppose with his background, with having been a squire to a knight, they perhaps thought that that would help us get a bit of an edge in.
Are you telling me that the King Edward, has cast my squire against my fucking judgment? I've been handing in reports about how he's misleading his fucking duties. He's not handing in any of the assignments I give him. And yet the king bestows upon him. And Stan, you can hear this, and she is becoming more and more irate as she continues the sentences.
I'm just going to kind of hold my hand up and I'm going to go, ma'am, I'm going to be entirely honest with you and up front.
As you say, ma'am, I'm going to be entirely honest with you, you hear her say, Sebastian! And immediately you see stepping from a corner, as if he's been waiting really specifically behind that corner until he's been called. From the end syllable of the N in his name, his foot has hit the ground to be rounding the corner. And he
Is this a Prince Charming man?
Oh yes. You've got
Can I shoot him a look? And I want my look to say, my armor's nicer than yours.
He knows it deep down, but he's not gonna in fact, make me a general performance with advantage to see how badly this guy gets humbled immediately. Oh, and also you should describe your character as well, because we skipped that.
Well, that's a 22. My character looks like a walking disco ball. Like, fully, like, fairly attractive half-elven woman with dark hair, white strands at the front, but fairly unassuming, except for the fact that the armor is pearlescent, almost. Like, not even almost, it is pearlescent. It any light that flickers off this is like reflecting into the room. It's a distraction when you're trying to have a conversation, not even with her.
Yeah. Eventually, as he walks around the corner, you do see a little bit of his pep does sort of crumble away as he's just like, oh, yes, miss, is there something I could be doing for you? Oh, I see we have a new guest. I wonder what your name may be. I am Sebastian Everready. I am at your humble service. And he bows low and offers his hand out to hold yours, as if to kiss your hand if you offer it.
I want to take his hand and kiss it.
He gladly accepts, and as you kiss his hand, he then kisses the knight's hand. So it's like a chain of and he's just like, well, friends, it seems we're well acquainted now. Are you still looking for Stan? He seems to have wandered off as usual somewhere. And Stan, you can hear Sebastian bad-mouthing you in the corridor right next to them. At this point, Lubnub, you are maybe 15 feet from a corner where you can hear Stan's knight is. Do you want to do anything?
What, are you going to let him talk shit? You have to go kill him.
You've got me trapped. You're holding me.
Let's be honest, it's not a very good hold. You could walk away if you wanted. So stop being a coward and go kill him.
Not killing him yet. Come on. Bit of patience.
No.
I'm going to be whispering this, by the way.
Yeah, I gathered.
I'm
not so cruel a DM to have you overheard by your knight immediately.
Sebastian, I wouldn't kill that guy.
Yeah.
I say no now, and I'm going to attempt to pick him up again and walk him closer.
Okay.
Don't worry, I was planning on walking out anyway, so if you do, you'll just hug me in my back, and we'll just walk with you, hug me.
You step out, and at this point as well, Torek, you are also witnessing this. You can see that these people are clearly being tasked with investigating who the king was killed by, clearly being tasked to investigate further into what's going on, and also seemingly very antagonistic to both the church, the royal guard, anything to do with the city whatsoever, any authority figure within a mile radius of them, just fully not here for the vibe of a lot of this, including the Goliath, who seems to be also working for them.
Have I overheard this whispering?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, you're definitely eavesdropping in a bubble of immunity till you're sort of introduced.
Yeah.
As you round the corner, Stan, you see your knight and Sebastian. Sebastian is easily standing in his armor, even though he's wearing full plate. It looks effortless to be standing as neatly and as upright as he is. His weapon polished precisely to the excellent point that it's always supposed to be, looking rather dull standing next to the disco ball of your friend. But nonetheless, Sebastian Everready, hopeful squire, is standing there yet again earlier than you, yet again to your knight, even though they're not assigned to them. What do you do?
I'm just gonna walk out and go, "Oh, there you are, my knight. I've been looking for you for a while. I see you've met my companions. I was tasked with investigating around the king and guiding him back to the castle, which I have done, as you can see."
As you finish your sentence, she's so angry that her mouth is moving and no sounds are coming out yet. It's such a high pitch that, like, Tiso, a lot of your rats have scampered off. Toric, a lot of your rats have scampered off. Like, the high-pitched noises could only be heard by animals at this point. And eventually... Oh, okay.
Can I whisper to her?
Yeah.
I'm going to whisper to her and kind of finish my sentence that I'd started.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go, honestly, your reports sort of let them know that he was fairly expendable. It's all part of it. I try not to question the higher-ups' judgments. I assume it was based on your reports.
Make me a persuasion check with advantage. Because that's a very good line.
I'm expendable.
Oh, that's a very good one. That's a 22 again.
Oh, wow. She
Oh, no.
she swallows for a minute and goes, yes, well, those, expendable is the word I keep using. And every report mentioning him. Expendable, and then also unreliable, poor timekeeping, constantly trying to be a chef when not supposed to be. These are qualities that knights are not supposed to have. I'm very disappointed. I consider him my greatest failure. It wounds me deeply that the king has given him this task. But nevertheless, I will endeavour. I have sworn vows to train the next generations of knights, and it is my burden to bear. She looks at Stan. Where's your armour?
Unfortunately, I was essentially kidnapped after
You were a
walking
chef
around.
again, weren't you? Don't lie to me, boy. You
I
were
was
working in them
chefing.
kitchens.
It doesn't work. It's a hobby.
If it's a hobby, you should stop missing work for it.
It's not my fault the customers are running late with their appointments. I can't let them go hungry. Protecting the city is my job. One happy person at a time.
Yes, protecting, not serving.
Isn't it protect and serve?
That's the American police force, not Greydrop
Oh,
City
sorry.
Knights.
Oh, sorry, Mom. Besides,
honestly.
That was a good pull.
I
That
feel-
was a very good pull. That is the motto of the New York City Police Department, I believe.
It is. To say, I did kind of get a tad bit injured. I'm gonna point to my horrifically scarred entire half of my body and be like, perhaps it would be best if I start wearing my armor.
Mayhaps indeed. Mayhaps indeed.
Well,
If only someone had been telling you that for the past 3 years.
It does look fairly nightly, right, ma'am?
It would if you were wearing it. Now, I'm going to need you to do 50 laps around the castle before you do anything else. Off you go. And she whaps you in the side of the head with a large reed.
Okay, ma'am. I'm just gonna turn to everyone else and go, ladies and gentlemen, my knight. I'm just going to run out the door, just going every step I take.
Yep.
Am I at that
Yep.
door? Yeah.
Yep.
I think as he runs out, I am.
You want to bump into him. Meet cute style.
No, actually, no.
He's holding his knight's gear, you've got a bundle of rats.
Bump into him. You want a
We
bit of
bump
rat?
No, I think,
all
I
the
think,
rats
I think I
wear
am.
the knight's gear.
Is there an area nearby that's not inside that I can poke into?
So Stan, you watch as this Goliath runs out through one of the servants' entrances into an abandoned courtyard.
Yeah.
Stan watches that?
No, Stan, you
yeah,
ran out. You're doing 50 laps. You have to go outside to do a lap.
I mean, actually, he looks kind of busy. I think as he runs out, I just I'm about to reach and
Make me a stealth check with disadvantage
Cool.
as you are about to reach.
Also,
can't run away,
DM,
rat.
I have a question.
What's your question?
Yesterday, you said that Torek was on the balcony, right?
Yes.
3 + 5.
I said I wanted to look at the balcony for assassins last time.
You did, yes.
Is there a chance I would have seen him?
No, you're shit. Your job.
Probably not. What did you get?
Can I roll just in the off chance?
8.
8. On an 8, your passive perception's high enough that you don't need to roll for this. As you're running through the servants' quarters, you see coming out from the shadows very briefly a very gaunt fucking skeletal skull, long greasy dark hair, hooded cloak, like screams assassin from the get-go as soon as you see them, and they see you in the shadow, kind of look a little scared, and then scoot back in.
Assassin.
Slin's gonna be jogging on the spot and go, "Hey, rat catcher. Say, you wouldn't have to be assassinating around here, would you?"
Wait, what? What did you?
Well, I mean,
What?
I mean, you're hiding in the
did
shadow.
No, I'm just I was in the room, what was it, the court?
The main room, yeah.
The main room, yeah. I saw your
Sorry, just to clarify, I was agreeing that it was called the court.
Yeah, cool.
It's not called main room number 1.
The main
I was
room.
in the main room.
The royal chamber, main room. Yes.
You'll have to forgive me, but I needed to I needed to ask what you're doing here.
Well, I work here, technically.
What about your friends, the turtle?
Oh, well, they're recently just out of the job for now, so I'm not entirely sure what they're going to do, but I think they're going to be solving a mystery, probably? I think you're actually the main culprit right now for me.
Very.
Torek was was unprepared to this interrogation thing, but is fully
Also a little caught off guard by how politely he said that.
So much worse than he imagined, because this guy is.
You're watching this creature gain anxiety as you're talking to it.
I
Hey, it's
no
okay,
idea what
buddy.
you're
You don't
talking
have to be scared.
You don't have to be scared. You're just our lead suspect in a murder investigation. Don't be scared, buddy.
I've gone through this too many times. Do not accuse me of. I have no idea what you. I'm sorry, just have yes, and I walk off. I think I walk off.
No, I really need to talk to you now. I really need to talk to you
No,
right now.
I'm sorry, and I like take my rat cages back and like.
Yeah, you can see the rat catcher trying to leave. Do you attempt to stop them?
I'm just gonna continue walking after him, going, no, come on, please.
Stan's
We
following
need to
you,
talk about it.
asking
Point.
politely. And I will say, make me an insight check, Torek.
Me?
Yeah, that is your name, right?
Yes, it is.
Cool.
That's 6 plus 3.
9
again.
This guy's vibe is very different from all the other people that have accused you of crimes previously. Like a lot of the time, it's like, oh god, it's scary, man, kill it with fire. But this is very much a, hey, sir, no, sir, please, no. What are you doing, sir? No, I've just said you might be under arrest, sir, please. Like you're getting the feeling that this is not a witch hunt and that he's genuinely curious as to whether you did this or not.
What are you talking about?
But you know the big assassination recently, that's the whole reason that there's a new king.
Right.
Yeah, we're pretty sure he was assassinated, and you look like you're hiding in the shadows. I'm wondering if you're going to attempt to kill the new king.
No, I was hiding in the shadows because I wanted to speak to you alone. No, no. The king is of absolutely no interest to me. Because you're strange, sir. You just threatened to arrest me.
It's my job. You're holding a cage of rats. That's your job. I don't question that.
I'm a rat catcher.
Exactly. Why are you questioning Squire for upholding the law?
As he says Squire, I think you realise in that moment, hang on, this guy's not a cop. Like, as he says Squire, you're like, hold on, he's a trainee. He fully doesn't have the authority to be questioning me.
Please, this was a mistake. It's fine. Do you know where your turtle friend is?
Oh yeah, recently got asked to deliver something, I think. Yeah, probably.
Well,
He'll be
do you
back.
know where? Can I
No.
talk to your other friends? No?
And you can, but it was a very private conversation that none of us were involved in. You can talk to him if you want.
Oh, yes. Can you lead me to your other friends? I'll go. Well, you were busy. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Unfortunately, I do need to do 50 laps. Would you like to come with me?
50 laps?
50 laps.
No, I'm good, thanks. I'll good.
Stan's the cop that arrests you and then goes, hey buddy, I'm going to the gym. You coming?
Yeah, that cop. Yeah.
Yeah. We've all had that cop.
We've all almost been arrested and then been invited to the gym instead.
No, thanks. Good luck.
Can you at least wait until the old lady leaves?
What old lady?
You know,
there's an old
the woman that was screeching Stan could only be described as old lady.
Yeah.
The old lady was joining our party in 5 minutes.
Yeah, if you could wait till she leaves.
This is the big reveal. You guys are gonna kick Stan out of the party and have Vinny roleplay as this new lady.
Daniel, where did you go?
Too terribly for Torek to begin with, so he is kind of like, right, I should probably stay on this guy's good side. Sure. And I sit down and just kind of like, yeah, like
Yeah, you're just waiting
I've
for
got
the...
a rat in one of the cages, and I'm just
Yeah.
playing around with him and just sit on the side waiting for you to do your laps.
Yeah, man. As you kind of watch, he starts. I presume you start your laps in earnest.
California.
Yeah, I'm gonna be going all the way, all 50 laps,
Yeah.
running 50 laps.
Amazing. Make me an athletics check.
Yeah.
I'll say with advantage because you've definitely done this before.
So the lowest I could get is an 18. 18.
Yeah, this is a task you've completed multiple times. It's a fairly standard like keep ready maneuver she likes giving you whenever you've done something mildly annoying. Usually not 50, but it's not too much of a stretch, far away from normal. As this is happening, the camera fades. You like go by a tree and the camera keeps moving into the corridor where you find your disco ball friend with Sebastian, and then could not be more different Lubnub in the corner. Everyone's in full play, everyone's all polished to the core, and then Lub, you're just standing there in the corner in like a tattered, dirty tunic with a maul covered in blood still.
Yep.
So, now that that's been dealt with, we can have a conversation amongst civilized folk, and Sebastian sort of, you're quite right, madam.
Yes, to start, your name. So I apologize, I didn't get your name. Things were a bit chaotic.
Well, I am Sir Isma.
You say the pleasure is all mine. Nylatheria or Nyla.
Nyla. Wonderful. So, you say you have questions about the assassination of the king. I'm afraid to say that I was in bed when it happened. It was not my patrol time, but there is many people who were awake at that time. I could introduce you to others. Remind me.
That would be excellent.
The king is who you work for. Perhaps you should start with his King's Guard.
Yes, but I'm wondering perhaps if you have any insight. Have you worked with any of them? Is there anyone in particular you would
Well, I've trained
start
a couple
with?
of them. I trained Edward and Tommen. I actually also trained the late Tommen, who you would recognise as the king that's just died. Which
Oh, I'm
means,
terribly sorry.
yes, it's somewhat of a family affair. I've trained the last 3 generations of these warriors.
I really do wonder what happened with Stan. I don't think you can be held accountable for that.
Yes, he is a stain on my legacy, my spectacular legacy of creating amazing warriors within this city.
I'm gonna go, but should we succeed, his name will be involved with that.
It would be better if it wasn't, honestly. It seems as though the boy is much more interested in being a chef than a squire. Lord knows I've tried to make him quit.
To be fair, I had some of his food. It was quite good. I suppose where your talents lie, maybe you should just go with that.
I wouldn't have so much of a problem with it if he just kept it as a hobby. Many knights can cook. They don't have to not be a knight as well.
I'm gonna nod along with her and just go, yeah.
This woman looks genuinely sad at the expressions of like this is genuinely, she's built a whole career on training the best warriors, and suddenly this guy comes along who she just can't make learn.
So Tommen, you think, might be a good starting point?
Aye, probably the oldest. He's the most sensible boy. He's a good boy. He's always on time. Always does what he's told. Not so much like Edward. Edward was the troublemaker, but Tommen's a good boy.
Okay, thank you for your insight. Just to be clear, you are welcome to come as well.
No, I suppose I must continue training. I have many duties in the city, and they take me longer and longer as the years go on.
I think it's admirable that you're still training such generally fantastic knights. And who knows, maybe eventually you'll crack the code with Stan too.
Well, I have my heart set on Sebastian at the moment. He's due to take his vows within the next year. And Sebastian stands very proudly.
I'm gonna nod that, yeah, he seems pretty good. Sebastian,
Yes.
I'm just wondering, I have something that might be of interest to you.
Oh, indeed. What
It's a cloak that I have. It's magical.
Well, enchanted gear is hard to come by. I would happily take a look at it. I must warn, I only wear the city's crest, but a knight maybe once he's crowned, or once he's knighted, I should say, there are many changes that can be made to their outfits depending on what magical items come into their possession.
Well, I mean, you can take a look, and if you want it, you can.
Yes, absolutely.
You're welcome to have it.
Absolutely. I will happily.
I have what we've called Cloak of Extreme Beauty.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna take that out and kind of take it out of my bag and kind of give it a bit of a shake and bundled at the bottom.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just kind of show it to him and ask him if he would wear it. I'm gonna say, would you wear it? I said, if you wouldn't wear it just now, if you're busy training, I'll hold on to it, and if we cross paths again.
Perhaps that is for the best. I would not wish to lose it or sully this magnificent piece. It's a very magnificent piece of clothing.
It is.
I would not wish.
And if he doesn't want it, I will put it back in my bag for now.
Perhaps once I've been knighted and once I have earned my name, I will find you again. You are, of
course, yeah,
hardly
good.
You are hardly difficult to spot in a crowd.
I kind of just looked down at myself. I'm gonna look a little sad. Maybe he thinks he's not gonna know why I look a little sad, but I look a little sad.
Yeah.
And I say to Lubnub, I say, that feels like probably enough time to run 50 laps. Shall we head outside and where are the King's Guard right now? I kind of say this like to the old lady, to everyone. Where would I find Solomon?
Sir Isma pipes up and says, well, he should be by the king. I would presume Harold is a good boy. He's had a hard night, and I would imagine he is off to bed.
Ah, sounds good. Lubnub, shall we go collect Stan and then head to the King's quarters?
Perfect. You get the sense that he hasn't really been listening, but he's been waiting for the cue to leave.
Just gonna go, lovely meeting you, Sir Isma. Sebastian.
Always
see you around.
Pleasure. Remember the name. I'm looking to make it official soon. Sir Everready, at your service. And he takes a low bow again.
I am going to give him a very dramatic, overemphasized bow back.
Yeah.
And spin and head out.
As you spin and head out through the same door that Stan left through, Torek, you spot the brightest creature for just a brief second, like so bright as the light shines on them, and then as they walk into this darkened corridor, even still, whatever small light is in here is catching off that armor, and also the orc that you know is accompanying the now named Stan.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. If the
Do you want to roll stealth again, or do you want to talk?
Torek would like to roll stealth again, but Torek is gonna have to.
Okay, roll stealth with disadvantage.
No, it's like.
Okay,
it's fine.
Wonderful. You guys spot.
Anyways,
you guys spot sitting in the corridor, not in light at all, but your armor starts to illuminate them as you walk by. Again, this hunched, gaunt, assassin-looking figure.
I'm really starting to like your
There's a lot of
armor. I'm going to
rats.
pull out them all.
I'm gonna hold a hand up to try
Let
and
go.
like stop what's happening and go. But 1 second, Lubnub, just one. Let me ask a question first.
Ooh.
I'm gonna go.
Ooh.
Hello.
Hi. I'm
Did you
sorry,
kill the king?
No. Why is everyone
No.
asking me that? What?
You look a little suspicious. I'm not gonna lie. However,
He
by
backs
the
you up,
looks,
but you didn't do it, and Maul goes away.
yeah, I'm gonna. You looked a little suspicious. However, you've got your rats.
Roll
I
me.
feel like you're a rat catcher.
Roll me an insight check,
Sorry.
Torek.
What can I just go?
You tried not looking like you killed the king when the king just died. Not the best idea.
For fuck's sake. That's an insight, and it's 3 again, so it's 6.
6. Even on a 6, you watch as you say, no, I didn't do it. And whether you believe Nyla believes you or not is up to you. But the orc immediately is like, goes from, I'm going to kill this thing to, okay, cool, and then relaxes.
Which is a relief, yeah.
Yeah, fully take whatever's happening here. The orc has taken you at your word and does not seem to care.
Okay, I need to start this again. I met Stan. Is that I hope that's correct.
Daniel, yes.
Yeah. Oh, Staniel. Sorry.
That is what I heard the women calling him, didn't I?
Yeah, you heard her
Okay.
screaming for Staniel.
Staniel.
Staniel!
Look, I don't. Maybe this is useless. Your friends, the turtle. I saw them earlier. They were saying some things that caught my attention, and I wanted to see if I could speak to them or to you if you're of the same party or opinions. If not,
I'm going to be
I'll-
entirely honest with you. I was in a wardrobe.
He was.
I've just actually walked out of a wardrobe. I missed a lot of what happened.
I will interject as a DM and say, Torek, you fully would have noticed this figure if it was in the room at the same.
Yeah.
Like, there's no reality
I
where
was
you
confused.
didn't notice this creature.
So to be clear, you're asking if I also dislike the church. That's what you're asking, right?
Oh, well, I guess it is. If we're gonna say it that explicitly, then yes.
I don't really care for it.
I'll take it.
Had no interaction with the church. As far as I'm concerned, we're going to go talk to the King's Guard. We're going to get Staniel. He's going to come with us. Do you want to come as well?
I'm not sure given that all 3 of you have assumed I'm an assassin, I think maybe it's not the best place for me to be.
Well, if you stop hiding in dark corners, people will stop thinking you're an assassin.
Yeah, like, you walk in with us, no one's going to think you're the assassin. Problem solved. You're part of the solution.
If anything, you're going to be even more obvious standing next to this.
Yeah. That does ring true of like, well, if I'm actively trying to solve the murder, it's probably not going to get pinned on me.
Oh no, Lubnub gestures to the shining armor.
Yeah.
That wasn't it. If you help us solve the murder, people aren't going to think you caused it. It was if you stand next to the shiny person, people will stop being like, that's an assassin hiding somewhere.
Yeah.
True.
You've had 2 arguments put forward to you.
Yeah. I think Torek is, at this point, I am, like, I really would have hoped to speak with the turtle, but so far so good-ish. This is the best I've been, like, the nicest I've been talked to in a long time, and I kind of want to stick with you for the sake of
that
getting
point,
my answers.
my eyes are just going to linger down to the cage of rats. And I want you to immediately be like, is she afraid? And I'm going to go, do you name them? The rats?
No one's ever, yes, I do. you like them?
Yes.
Are the rats your weapons?
What? No. That's.
Am I the only one that can fight here?
I think they're his friends, Lubnub.
Friends
I'm
can
a
fight.
rat catcher. I pick. I take them in to avoid diseases and all of that. That's my job. But some I don't kill them. I just set them free. Very far into the woods. Yeah.
Well, I'm very fond of non-lethal tactics. I'm going to kind of side-eye Lubnub a little bit. I'm going to say, so I have a bit more trust in this chap now. I'm going to look over and see if I can see Stan and go, Staniel!
You're probably you're on like lap 49, just coming round to the end when you hear Nyla's call. You're muted.
Oh.
I thought it was just delay. I was like, what's happening?
Terribly sorry, I forgot about that mild thing.
Yeah.
It was just being too loud in my own head, and I was like, I don't want any of the noises that's happening in the recording. But you know what? Eventually I'm gonna forget, and you'll get to hear all of the random Vinny ASMR. But yeah, come on. Is your thoughts not so loud to people here outside? Like, brain.
Yeah,
No,
sometimes.
that's never happened to me. No.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Mm,
Never happened. Exactly.
Exactly. You're not brain enough.
I need to name my rats
Sounds just
now.
good.
Sorry, while you finish your rants.
So I go, Staniel, we're going to go question the King's Guard. Are you almost done?
Just on Stan's last lap, he's gonna hear that and pick up the pace, arrive and just go, yeah, it's just Stan. I would appreciate that. Oh, hey, you found the rat catcher. I don't know your name.
I'm Torek.
Meet you, buddy.
I've clearly never been asked this in a long. It's been a long time since I've actually said my name out loud.
Okay, so Torek's gonna come with us. Stan, sorry, won't elongate your name again. Your knight is cool with you coming with us to question the people.
Really?
You do hear an echoing sort of in the back of your head of not a physical hearing of your being chastised, but you do remember that she was pretty irate about you not being in full armor.
Yeah. I feel like I should probably get my gear before I start official investigations.
Where is it?
It's where I live. I'm not gonna leave it on the street. Come on.
Yeah, but where do you live? Because we're at the castle. The castle's got the king and the King's Guard in it. Are we gonna go to your house first? Do you live here? I don't know where squires live.
The Squire training grounds. We just kind of, it's like a barracks. We just kind of live there.
Cool. Let's go get your armor.
Yeah, you wander through the outside. You actually walk back out to where Stan was doing the laps, and then you wander to the training area. You can see that there's a large courtyard with a couple buildings here and there, mostly arranged in sort of a Roman style U shape, where you can see that there are just barrack after barracks with a large central training ground. You can see that no one's out there at the moment. It's sort of coming up to the sort of start of evening, and obviously with the fuss that's going on in the city, nobody's training at the moment. Everybody's out patrolling at the moment. So the town, the courtyard that would usually be bustling with activity of people lifting weights, training with armor and shields, training with weapon, training with different fighting techniques and different weapons. You can also see that there are the barracks, and Stan, you happily lead your way to the barracks, and you find your armor, your shiny silvery armor with the gold symbol of Antarok and the chest plate.
So this is plate armor, correct?
It is indeed. You can add a set of full plate to your inventory.
I'm gonna
Great.
nudge Nafila. It's not as shiny as yours.
I'm gonna go, you're damn right. Tell you what, Nub, could you hold on to this for me? And I'm gonna give him my ring and say, I really need it kept safe. It's very important to me. You seem ready to protect things.
I wouldn't use that word for it, but I can work with it. No, I only have one pocket and it's already busy, so
Yeah, you watch as he puts the ring on a tusk.
Did I witness
Sure,
the
that'll do, thank you.
ring, ring in your pocket thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. Okay. And Torek is just standing and like, yeah, I suppose I have been around, probably around near the squires.
Yeah, you'll know about them. Yeah, you'll do rat catching in this area. Yeah. You've never been inside one of the barracks before.
Like, yeah.
Out in the open. Yeah.
With a bunch of
yeah. But yeah, Stan, you put on your armor. Do you equip your armor?
I do.
Excellent.
Might I also procure a shield from the training grounds?
Yeah,
as a treat?
absolutely. You have a shield that's designated yours for training. It's just a standard shield.
Hooray!
see him pick up the shield. I'm like, oh yeah, and I don't know where I was keeping it, but I will try and hand a rapier to Nyla. Found this on a. Found
Uh,
this.
Yeah. Yeah,
You look like the type of person that uses something like this.
I can use a rapier? Thank you. And I'm gonna put it in my bag, Mary Poppins-esque. Like, the full length of the rapier probably just about fits.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
So I just pop it in, close the bag up, and go, thank you. Lovely.
Then I've got this wasted shield that I kind of look at and like, rat guy, do you use shields?
No, thanks.
Alright, cool.
You
Left throw away.
do you have a spear
hang
as
on,
well, or because
Nope.
did Stan take both of them?
Stan has both of them because I shish kebab the fish on my
You
javelin
did, yes.
and then handed that javelin back to Stan.
What were you going to say, Stan?
I was gonna say, didn't our good friend the turtle need that shield for a plan?
I don't know. I asked them if they wanted it and they said they didn't need it, so if they want it, it's just over there.
I'm just gonna turn
We
around
know where
and
they're-
look at the very fishy, what probably top of a table shield that was there, and just be like, that probably wasn't important. I'm just
Look,
gonna
it
put
didn't do
on
the
a-
last guy any good, you know.
Yeah, but he was fighting fish. I'm gonna put it on a shield mount and just be like, it's a treat for whoever wants it.
Yeah,
Just go, alright, I'm ready.
you take your shield off the rack and put that back in the position where your shield was. So inevitably, when Yzma comes to check that you're wearing your gear, she'll be like, "What the fuck? Oh, it smells like fish. What the fuck? He's been cooking on his bloody shield again."
So the ring that Nyla gave me, does it fit in my tusk okay?
What do you think, Nyla? Do you think it would be good enough to fit on a tusk? Big enough?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just a very standard ring.
Yeah. It doesn't like form shape like the other one did. The other one, Lub doesn't have a lot of experience with magic, but he knows that when metal wraps onto a thing, it's doing something magic-ish. This ring is not that, or it's.
Whereas this one,
not...
you probably have to force on a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was going to say. If it feels kind of loose, what Love would do is take off the ring of warmth and then place it over the top of the other one to kind of act as a place,
And
kind
it
of
does.
secure it in.
As soon as you place that on top, the ring, what's the word? Conforms to your tooth shape. So it almost looks like you've got one fully metal tooth now.
I just look at Nyla.
Thank you. Very appreciated. And I like the sword as well.
Cool.
Stan, you also have those two shields. Are you not shields? Spears. Are you taking them with you?
course I am.
Excellent. What's your passive perception, Nyla?
Let me look. I have no idea. 13.
13. On a 13, you can see that clearly in the same style as this shield, like decrepit and old and like wasted material sort of thing. You see that Stan is carrying two. They look to be slightly degrading spears, similar to javelins, but not made of metal, just fully spears. And each of them has writing on the side of them, in Elvish, which you can speak. So you immediately know, you can't quite make out what they are while he's wearing them, but you can see that in beautiful Elvish writing, all up both spears as words.
Stan, can I read those real quick? Your spears, they have writing on them.
They might also have a bit of fish on them, but sure, here you go.
Quite tentatively at that.
They do smell quite heavily of fish and rot, and
I'm gonna try to really minimally touch those.
yeah, as you read them, yeah, you can see that one of them in Elvish, you actually notice that this is a very old form of Elvish. This is something that you probably wouldn't see these days, being the equivalent of reading like Old English, like Shakespearean English, as opposed to now English. In Old Elvish, you can read Gnome Stabber and Halfling Hobbler.
Okay. I'm gonna say to Stan, if we encounter any halflings, or was it gnomes and halflings?
Yeah. One of them's called
say,
Gnome Stabber.
I'm gonna say if we encounter any gnomes or halflings that we need to like us, like if they're important people, cover those up.
Why?
They're not the most positive comments. Or if you have any gnome or halfling friends.
I just had a really good idea.
Are they racist? A little bit, yeah. Just elves in general, they were a bit racist.
So I have a really good idea, Stan. Does Sebastian sleep in here?
Probably. I haven't seen him in a while in here.
Yes, Sebastian does sleep in these same quarters. You look over and you can see where everything else is sort of in a state of disarray, where everyone has really quickly got up and got ready and left. You can see an absolutely pristinely made bed, pristine condition locker at the foot. Like, it looks as if he's dusted just the corners of his, like, brushed the floor where his area is, so that it's extra clean.
Nyla, can I see the spears a sec, please?
Stan, can Lubnub have the spears?
Oh, did you hand them back? Fuck,
yeah.
my bad.
Sure.
So seeing that Nyla was like, I'm going to clean them. Seeing that Nyla didn't like touching them because they were dirty.
I've never seen you clean a thing day in your life.
I catch what you're going to do and I'm just beaming, smiling.
Well, I hold up my maul that is essentially a really strong stick, some rope, and a large stone. This doesn't really need cleaning.
You do.
Wow.
I suppose I did stand in sewer water. Fair enough.
Is there a shower here?
Your barracks has a communal washroom. It's basically just a well with cold water. There is no running hot water for any kind of servants. So. But
is it really that much?
Like,
is it that much of an issue?
Well, we're gonna go and talk to the head people, and we're gonna go. That's gonna involve going into the king's bedroom potentially. Like, it might be respectful if we don't smell of sewage.
I mean, I already spoke to them dressed like this.
Yeah,
Covered
but in his
much
bedroom,
more
it's
blood.
his sleeping quarters.
Torek kind of awkwardly shifts around a little.
Who's also been dwelling in the sewer.
Probably has.
Can I clean the spears first?
Yeah, you clean the spears, and then maybe everyone goes for a shower. Would we all go for a shower? Group shower?
Oh, for the best.
Yeah, Stan, you're a bit sweaty from your laps.
Yeah.
So
Group shower. Let's go
if
for
Stan
group shower after you've cleaned the.
Oh, group
Stan
shower.
hands me the spears,
We all have a
I am-
gender-neutral group shower, and then afterwards we cut back to here, all pristine. It's like it's one of those was it the trope in anime where they all go for a shower randomly together for no reason.
I mean,
Yes.
we've already done the beach episode.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, beach
But-
episode.
You go clean those spears, because I think I know what you're gonna clean them on. So
Yeah, so does Stan hand me them?
Well, but I'll be keeping an eye on you.
I mean, you keep an eye on as I immediately go over to Sebastian's very neat bed, take his bed sheet, and just start cleaning the spear, which still have raw, rotting fish on them.
Yeah.
I mean, I had another idea that would have been equally but more embarrassing.
And I will use his bed sheet to clean the spears so that
Yeah.
in future Nyla won't feel icky holding them.
Yeah. Yeah. They are nice and clean after they're. Yeah, absolutely. Takes no effort whatsoever. You use the pristine bed sheets to sort of really scrub them clean. The bed sheets are horrible by the end, but the spears are lovely.
and we go have a group shower.
Yep, you go have a gender neutral group shower where all the bubbles cover all the important things, and then we
Yes.
move on. Yeah.
What colour is the bed sheets now?
Similar color. Like the main difference is the smell.
Is there mayhaps a rotting brown skid on it?
There could be, yeah. If you would like there to be.
If you give Lubnub
I would-
5 minutes,
I'd like to use that. As seeing this, Stan's gonna get an idea. Is there any soap around? Anything slimy? Cooking oil, mayhaps?
There's soap, yeah.
Got it. So out of my bag, I'm gonna pull out an orb. I'm just gonna cover it in soap and sit it on his bed underneath the brown smear.
So that he has to. So that he has trouble wiping it off.
No, so that he has to explain why there's a slippery ball next to a rather brown skid mark in his bed.
How big is this orb?
Let's see. Let's see if it actually tells me.
Why do you have an orb?
I got it as because I am a spellcaster.
Oh god, it's a 3-pound ball.
Yes, £3.
It's a crystal ball.
Yeah, it's like.
Yeah.
It's like 5 inches diameter. And you've
Oh,
sat it
wow.
next to a skid mark.
Good for Sebastian, I guess.
Good for Sebastian, I guess. So,
Yes.
having done fucking with Sebastian, possibly literally, what do you all want to do?
We're heading to the king's quarters, I think.
Excellent. You guys head your way back into the castle.
I
Fairly.
think Torek is gonna like.
Do you
on the-
shower as well?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I took the opportunity. I took the beautifully put. Let's all shower to not like.
Yeah.
I'm really thankful. Like,
Yeah.
grateful for that. I can't don't express it, but I'm like yeah. On the way, I am gonna like get rid of my just hide them somewhere along the way of my rat catcher gear.
Yeah.
To avoid.
You have a
being, like,
backpack, I would
recognised.
imagine. You have a backpack.
Yeah. Just
You want to store your backpack somewhere safe to be picked up after
yeah.
meeting the king.
Yeah. Kind of
Absolutely.
Yeah. Or I keep it on, but I just don't want to be recognised as the rat catcher.
Having had a shower for the first time in a long time, you probably won't be.
Yeah, exactly.
Like your long, greasy black hair
Yeah,
is
well,
now slightly
yeah.
puffy.
But I'm getting rid of the rat catcher items
Yes.
to make sure.
No
that I'm
problem.
not-
Excellent. On that note, you make your way through the castle. Stan, you're familiar with where the king's quarters are. And then I think you get about halfway there when you suddenly realise, I'm probably not going to the king's quarters. Harold is probably still in his room, which you don't know where it is. You don't know where Harold's room is.
Do I?
Make me a history check with advantage.
Guys, where are we going again?
To speak with Harold, the new king, prince boy. I don't know.
What room are we going to?
Where do you think he'll be? Will he not be in the king's quarters?
Probably
Said with
his
advantage.
bed.
3 plus 2, 20, 19, 20, 21.
21.
Yeah.
As he says that, like, he'll be in his bed, not the king's quarters. I think you get a flashback to, like, a couple times where there's been infestations near where the royal beds are. Like, there is a corridor near the king's chambers where all three of his sons' rooms are lined up so that they're all next to each other in the event of an emergency. It's just easier to evacuate all three if they're right next to each other. And that kind of probably explains why it was so quick for them to fuck off when the church was looking for them.
Well, do you know where that is, Stan?
Torek, you know where
Why
it is.
would I know?
Stan's miraculously eating.
He cooked up.
Gotta keep the protein levels up to keep these gains.
I like kind of dragging in the back as he whatever it is he says right there as a response that is not yes I know where the king is. I'm like the king's room. I know where the king's room is.
Fucking sweet. Lead the
Oh,
way.
brilliant. Where?
Thanks, buddy.
Do I like?
You get a thanks, buddy, and a pat on the shoulder from Stan, incidentally, in that moment.
And for the first time in years, my pale face goes slightly pink and like,
Yeah.
oh,
There you go.
yeah. Do I describe where this is? Or
You can head there. It'll take you about a minute and a half to walk there.
I'll lead you to it.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
You wander on through, much less wandering, more walking with purpose, I suppose. But takes you about a minute, maybe two, to get there. And inside the corridor, you can see is a long stretch, maybe 30, 40 feet long, and then with three doors, just three doors, and each door has two men standing either side, looking to be guarding.
I nod to the door and just kind of retreat to the back of the
Yeah,
room.
they nod to the middle door.
We will walk right up.
Yeah, as you walk up,
Gentlemen.
Stan, you actually recognise two of these people, and so do you, Lub, because they were in the sewer with you guys less than 24 hours ago as part of the Royal King's Guard. The two men stand at the door and say, "Right, lads, none are meant to be entering. The King's trying to get a good night's sleep."
That's alright.
No
We
problem.
need you.
Yeah, we're actually here to question the King's Guard. We were hoping to speak to Tommen.
Tommen is also in his room.
Can I wake him up? He's not the king.
It's possible he's not asleep. This is business for the King's Guard, yes.
Yeah.
Very well.
Trying to stop the next king from dying. You know it is.
Yeah, it's fairly important.
Oh wow, we got a message in the chat saying how great we are, basically. Always nice. Yes. Give me just a second as I
Bring up the stat sheets for this encounter. Brought to you by this week's sponsor.
Brought to you by Axes.
Yeah, I've got some protein bar.
Brought to you by protein bars and axes.
Protein bars.
As you say, you're looking for Tommen, and that you're looking for the King's Guard, for business for the King's Guard. You see that someone pokes their head out of the third room. There's the first room that you guys walked past, the middle room, which is Harold's, and then the last room, someone pokes their head out and says, "Sorry, are you looking for the Lord Commander?" And you recognise Edward.
Is Tommen the Lord Commander?
No, Edward is. But Tommen is the oldest child in the family.
Oh, I say no, thank you.
Yeah, I was gonna say I lean into Nyla and I just quietly say, I don't think anyone fucking said that.
Yeah, good. No, thank you.
Very well. I just heard that there was business with the King's Guard. You know, I run the King's Guard.
Fuck, that's actually kind of a good point.
Well then, I mean, group chat. Let's go to Tommen. You come as well.
Very well. He sort of, as he was poking his head out, he stands up straight and walks out, and you realise that he is just wearing sort of the equivalent of pajama bottoms. It's like cotton bottoms, barefoot on the stone, fully like chiseled swimmer's body abs covered in battle scars, like short cropped soldier's hair, like just a bit of stubble from having not shaved the previous day and night. Very well, we shall away to my brother's room. I shall happily wake up the Sir Sod. What's your questions? As he like pounds on Tommen's door without announcing who he is.
We're looking to get a recount of the rather unfortunate incident. I know that's not going to be nice for you to recount, but
No,
quite important.
Suppose it shan't. And he pounds again on the door, and Tommen from inside goes, I left orders to be not disturbed, and he opens the door and sees Edward with you four. Oh, it's you. God's sake, Edward, put some fucking clothes on. Don't walk about the castle like this. You're meant to be the Lord Bloody Commander. And Edward, you could see that Tommen standing in the door is not in his full battle gear anymore, but is wearing like a well-pressed tunic, well put together, like day clothes, as if he was going to a casual event. And Edward just gives him a grin and goes, yes, and as Lord Commander, I'm sure none of the people here would spread vicious rumours about how fucking excellent I look topless. And just cheerily looks on. Right, guys? Guys? You get it. And he points to Stan, like high five up.
I can't not high five him.
Says that, looking at Stan who's in full plate armor, like, what do you mean he gets it? He's fully dressed.
Yeah, but he works out. And I know it's a man that only works out his arms.
It'll be a notice.
So, Tommen stands in the doorway, just like eyes closed, like eyebrows raised. And I'm yet to become acquainted with you two. I believe you're familiar with who I am. I'm Tommen Baywick.
Yes, it was recommended to us by Sir Yzma, who I believe trained you in your youth, that we come speak with you.
Yzma. Wonderful. And
we don't act.
What business does Yzma have with us this evening?
Absolutely not.
They both, their countenance immediately goes, like, somber.
Absolutely none. We're actually just looking for a recount of today's events, and I asked Yzma who to speak to. She said yourselves.
Edward looks mildly hopeful for just a split second and says, oh, she recommended you come to me?
You and Tommen?
Maybe a deception check. I'll say with advantage because he wants to believe this.
Nyla out here crushing people's spirits left, right, and centre.
20, but not a 20 that I rolled.
He's absolutely going to take it. He perks up. Well, I suppose if Sir Yzma would send you our way, the least we can do is answer questions. And he like puts a hand on Tommen's chest and shoves him into his room so that he can walk by unimpeded.
I'll just follow after. He made us a path.
Did that speak to your soul there?
I've only just realised Sir Yzma.
God damn it, Dion. Stan, can you turn on a light, please?
No.
Dude, we're supposed to be doing this for an audience.
Stan is the darkness.
I didn't mean to interrupt.
You couldn't even tell Stan wasn't here.
Was not in the...
Okay, that's kind of better, but
No,
terrible
it's
story.
just that he wasn't in shot.
No, he was in
Yeah, I
shot.
just wasn't
No,
there.
it wasn't.
He was just
No, I
leaning
wasn't.
back
He wasn't.
in the darkness.
No, I left
Well,
because
can
I
you
realized
turn on a light?
I realized I can. I
And it's the vengeance.
We're doing this for a fucking audience.
as a
Gets
treat for
one
you.
compliment, retreats to the
Yeah.
shadows. None of that.
Oh,
Excellent. So, as you walk into the room, you are all invited in by Edward to Tommen's room to have a private chat. And Tommen sort of begrudgingly, you can see that the room is very well kept, very Spartan in design. There is just a comfortable looking bed with not a lot of furniture in the room. Doesn't look like he entertains guests here at all. Very well, make yourself comfortable. As the oldest child, it is my designation to look after the family, and I suppose there has been a small lapse in that recently. Is everybody distracted by anything in particular, or shall I continue my story, Daniel?
What are you talking about? I'm just in character.
No
he's
wonder.
in character.
The slight muffling of his
The
voice is
slight
perfect.
echoing is what gets me.
What do you mean?
Okay.
As painful as I'm sure it will be for both of you to recount what happened,
Yes.
we've been tasked with trying to work out who did it, which in turn could prevent it from
Yes.
happening again, which you'll both want, I would imagine.
Well, I can say last night was a rather confusing turn of events. We have set our spies to work, trying to get things organised. It is no secret that most royal families and most royal governments have spy masters, and I'm sure you guys can work out the reasons we don't want to be sharing a ton of information about them while there's an active investigation going on. What we can say is that the person who informed us of the assassination was a member of the Hands of the Valley. Apart from
And
that, sorry?
can you tell us who was present during the assassination? Surely the king wasn't left unattended.
Well, this is the thing. The king was unattended by order of His Majesty himself. He was to be given privacy for the evening. There were no guards at the door.
And is that common?
It was not uncommon.
So it wasn't suspicious to you that on the night of his murder he was alone?
Well, it would be if he was only alone on that night, I suppose. But
how often is he alone?
Roughly once a month he secluded himself. He didn't enjoy having the guards around. A necessity we all agreed would happen, but an older man wishing for some privacy. We thought it was harmless. It was not,
Okay.
but
'Twas not indeed.
I think, unfortunately, Love Nub kind of blurts out here, being blunt again. So, do you know what killed him yet?
poison. He was poisoned.
Ingested poison, or were we talking arrow wound? Sword?
You watch his brows furrow a little. We were told poison. No one said wound.
I thought it is perking up with this, so I do have.
I really.
a bit of-
Someone in the
That
chat
would-
just said, "Hey Pookie, how are you, Turkey?"
Oh yeah,
You're
you
muted.
muted it yet.
You're muted, Stan.
God damn it. It's because I had the helmet on. It is what I think it is. My Pookie Bear.
My Pookie Bear. Okay.
My cookie bear.
Sorry, the perks of being live is that people can interrupt your storytelling with my "Hey Pookie, how are you?" Yes, sorry. What were you saying there? No, I was
I'm
talking.
gonna.
Sorry.
Yeah.
He furrows his brows and says, "No, no one mentioned anything about an arrow wound or any kind of puncture wounds. I presumed that it was some sort of ingested poison."
Have you went and seen your dad's body yet?
No.
Could we, for
Who has it?
investigation purposes?
I suppose. I would imagine it's being carted off to the church right now.
The body and
Church.
where did it happen? Where was he?
Yeah.
It would have happened in his private study.
Would you mind if we had a look around there as well?
I suppose it couldn't be too harmful.
She'll be so good.
Promise not to break anything unless it tries to break me first.
Well, in general, yes, that is good. Perhaps you should find Nicholas. He is one of our trusted spies. He might be useful in the investigation.
Any hint as to where we might find him?
You mean Nicholas from the Hands of the Valley?
I believe so, yes. Nicholas and Hera.
Give me a sec, because I only took the first name down. Is it who I think it is?
You know a Nicholas that's a spy.
Do I know where he would perhaps drink?
You know that
Or-
he drinks quite regularly in the Hands of the Valley pub.
Is that the pub we've been to before?
It is indeed.
I mean,
Um,
London visibly deflates.
I'm gonna say, yeah, we'll go speak to Nicholas, but after we go and see the study. If the body's being taken away, anyone could tamper with it. I would like to see the study before anyone gets a chance to,
Very well.
if they haven't already.
Be my guest. Edward, would you mind accompanying them to the study? And Edward is just like, yep, sure, absolutely. Yeah, I'll lead you on down.
Would I have any actual knowledge, like any particular knowledge about poison? Just because.
You are familiar with a lot of different types of poison and disease, specifically associated with rats.
Would it be helpful for me to?
Could be.
Yeah.
You don't know what killed him. If something that was natural killed him.
I've definitely perked up with the mention of poison, so I'm gonna follow for that. That's for sure.
Excellent.
Can I get a rough insight on Edmund?
Edward.
Edward.
Sure, make me an insight check.
Bam. 8.
8.
How's he handling this?
Like a professional soldier. On an 8, you don't see any cracking in his facade. You don't see any signs of mourning. He is like a battle-hardened soldier that you're familiar with because you've grown up around knights. Like, these are people that deal with death constantly. So, you see that he's dealing with it jovially in that sort of gallows humor kind of way.
As we're walking, I'm gonna whisper to Dion's character and just say, in general, if you're trying to keep suspicions on yourself low, maybe don't look so happy when poison is mentioned in regards to the murder victim.
Torik's
And I'm just gonna keep
face
walking.
Even lower than it was. Yeah. Yeah.
As you walk on through,
stunned a little and then follow.
Edward very quickly goes back to his quarters. He comes back out wearing fine, pure white leather armor. It looks to be sort of a cross between, like, comfort and still armor, as opposed to the plate mail that he was wearing earlier. And it is still, like, shining white, big symbol of his house on his chest. You can see the sun of Antarak above the bay. The water turning into where his abs would be.
You could have kept your PJs on.
I could have, but it's a rather long walk. I prefer to be wearing shoes in the cold castle.
Fair.
And besides, haven't you heard? The royal family's dropping like flies these days.
Indeed, but you've got us. We would protect you.
I believe I'm the protection here. And then he walks off.
No.
I scoffed.
He does not react. Yeah, he leads you
Personally, I
to...
disagree, but I'm not going to, act on it.
Yeah, I scoffed and look at Lubnub like, this guy.
I mean, I'm the one that killed 17 skeletons while
That's
he
fine,
sat,
yes.
but
We killed 17 skeletons.
Around this moment, who has the
Okay,
highest? Who has the highest passive perception?
Nope.
I mean, it's only 13. I don't think that's particularly high.
I'm lucky to have 10.
What's the passive?
Stan, you're at a 10. Lub, you're at a 10. I think it might be 13, man.
Where is the passiveness?
Give me a minute. I'm looking at your character sheet.
Right, sorry. Because I know I have...
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah. 15.
Yay.
Oh.
Yeah, I do like my perception.
So,
You do like your book nerd characters.
as this is going on, you see just from the corner of your eye, like, a small white dot pass at high speed and sticks to the back of Lubnub. And we continue on.
I am gonna, who's closest to me? Like, what's the order there?
Nyla and Lub are close to you.
I've just whispered in your ear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Stan and Edward are up front.
But I did, linger in the back of it because I was so upset and shocked. But you have been the nicest to me so far, and you showed interest in my rats. So, yeah, kind of awkwardly, I am gonna catch up, and just be whisper to you.
To Nyla.
Yeah. There's something that could can I see anything on?
Yeah, there's a white dot stuck to the back of Lub.
Okay, well then I'm not even gonna.
It's maybe that size.
Okay. I'm not even gonna whisper then. I'm just gonna tap your shoulder a little frantically and just kind of point awkwardly.
Lubnub, stop.
Lubnub stops because he kind of trusts Nyla.
There's something on your back that just appeared, or... And I'm asking.
It flew from behind us. It just...
There is a projectile landed on your back from behind us.
Like I've been stabbed, or there's a fly on me?
I'm gonna go and have a look, and I'm gonna try and get Edward to look as well.
I love the expression of "I'm gonna go have a look," as if it takes you 10 minutes to walk around how wide Lubnub is.
Turn around and look, see if I can...
Make me a perception check.
Yeah.
I will help by standing
That's
still.
20.
And nat 20.
Yeah, nat 20. And I've got 5 perception. Well, +5.
+5. You don't see any signs of any individual standing there, which on a nat 20 to you would speak to something magical having just happened. You get the distinct impression that either this thing has appeared by magical means, or from an invisible thing, or from some other source of secret magic. And also on a nat 20, you also recognise that if this had been dangerous, it would have already done its job.
Okay.
If this had been a dart, or a poison, or a paralytic, or a knife, or anything that was damaging, Lub would have felt it by now, because he did not spot it.
But yeah, I'm investigating whatever it is.
Might I also have a look at the object?
Yeah, make me an investigation check. Edward is like walking still down the corridor.
Edward.
Edward.
He like stops, grinning at you all. Hello, what's up?
Someone, I don't know, shot Lubnub? Not with a bullet.
He looks at Lubnub. I don't see an arrow. Are you injured?
No, there's
sir?
something.
Look at this angle then.
There's something on his back that was.
Who rolled what for investigations?
5.
On a 5, this is beyond all comprehension. Like, this entity, this fucking white dot, you've never seen anything like it.
Can I investigate?
Who else
I got an
investigation?
18.
18. It's a piece of paper. It's just folded paper.
Oh.
Oh, I'm
Stan,
gonna unfold it.
You're looking at this fully perplexed. You've never seen anything even close to this texture or shape. Nyla, you pick it up and you unfold it. It's a note.
I'm gonna unfold it just to myself. I'm gonna look. I don't want Edward to see. Mostly Edward.
It's a note.
Someone tried to kill me. He says, hopefully.
What languages do you speak?
Oh, let's me look. I don't know. Where would that be? Where are my languages at? Oh, proficiencies? I speak Common, Draconic, Elvish, and Sylvan.
Oh, this is written in Sylvan.
Splendid.
God damn it.
In Sylvan, you see for Lub, for Zuak, for Stan. Meet me at the gate. Signed, Grey.
Lubnub, do you know someone called Grey?
No one in. Well, kinda. I know a couple people whose last name is Grey.
Okay, not a problem. We'll deal with this later. Don't worry about it. It's fine. On to the study.
So I'm not trying. No one's trying to assassinate me.
I don't think so.
With a note of
sick.
genuine sadness. So no one's killing me at the moment?
I'm so sad because all of my excellent role there was useless.
You never know.
We established something's at play, and it's not trying to fucking kill me.
Nah,
I just placed my hand on Lubnub's shoulder. Lubnub, you do know the Grey, and I know the Grey. He was investigating. I'm just gonna lean in. The church.
Oh,
I hear.
you think? Like I said, I know a couple of Greys.
How much are you hiding that, Stan?
Pretty much entirely. I do not want Edmund
Okay.
to hear.
Roll me. It's still Edward, but roll me a stealth check.
Oh man, it's a disadvantage because I'm wearing armor.
This
But
would
I'm
not.
just talking.
This would not be triggered by your disadvantage for an armor.
Yay! Fuck. 6.
6. Yeah, Torrent, you hear this and no bother.
Excellent.
Yeah, you
Okay,
hear
but
him whisper,
alright.
he was investigating the church!
Church.
In fairness, I'm fairly sure Edmund doesn't like the church
It's
anyway.
still Edward, but he's moving on through the corridor now. He's turned round to stare at you all. He's been shot. He seems fine. Are you sure this isn't a misunderstanding?
I think it's a
We've asked-
misunderstanding. It's fine.
Shot by
We've
a
asked you
new
to
thought,
investigate
perhaps?
3 times. We've asked you to investigate 3 times. The moment's passed. You've missed it. You had no information.
I feel like I'm being left out on some joke here, but
You are. It's a very serious matter that you won't get to know now.
Well, I suppose we may as well continue on then. Shall
Continue
we?
on. Yeah.
He leads you to a large double-doored room. As he opens the doors, you can see that he pulls out keys from his belt. He's got a belt loop of keys just for the castle in general, and he pulls out one specifically for this door, unlocks it, lets you guys in. Only a certain number of people have keys to the private study. I have one. Most of the Kingsguard have one. Usually we patrol in pairs. So out of the 7 of us, there are 4 keys. One of them's with me at all times, and then whenever they're patrolling in 3s, they each take one of them will take the key. Apart from that, the king had one. I suppose Harold will have one, and Tommen had one.
To be clear, though,
yes.
there was no sign of forced entry, so someone who had that key killed your father.
Well, I mean, he looks down to. He's going to roll investigation on the door.
I will assist him.
You've never been in this place.
Full user investigating can stand and go, you guys do that. I'm gonna go talk to Grey. That seemed fairly urgent, and I'm not sure if he'll wait.
I didn't tell you that.
Yeah, they asked if
You
you
just asked if I knew.
Agree.
Actually, damn it, yeah. They're like, yeah, we know a Grey. Attempt to investigate the church, and then nothing more was said.
He rolled a 1 on investigating this door, so he's like,
With me assisting him?
did he have advantage?
Yeah.
But I loved it if it was advantage. He rolled a 1.
The sad, yeah.
Can get to.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it seems. Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, it must have been, or at least they've not entered through this door, possibly. There are no signs of forced entry in this door, as far as I can tell.
Okay. When we go in, the first thing I'm going to be looking for is any other entries.
Entrances.
And even secret ones, I'm going to be taught, like, feeling books on bookshelves and proper Sherlock Holmes.
Cool. Roll me an investigation check upon entering. So what happens is the doors open. You can see that this is a fairly large room comparatively to what most of you would have assumed a room would be. Like, this is a small room for royalty. Like, compared to the rest of the castle, compared to the grandeur of everything else, this is more like the size of someone's house as opposed to the size of a mansion room. This is just a wall lined with books, with a desk in the centre, a comfortable armchair by a fireplace, and that's about it. Make me an investigation check.
17.
That's 20 again.
And nat 20 again?
Yeah.
As you are looking around, the first thing you spot is that there is signs of entry on this door. The first thing you immediately spot is that this door has been picked at some point. You're not sure when. There's no real way to get a timeline on that. Don't know if it's necessarily related, but it's pretty suspicious. The second thing you notice is that any room with a fireplace needs to have a secondary exit. Like, the fireplace always has to go out to air. Otherwise, the room would fill up with smoke and everyone would die. The third thing you realise is that there doesn't seem to be, on a nat 20, looking at all the bookshelves, looking at all the areas in here, pulling all the books off the shelves, like, one by one, testing them all. No real, like, secret rooms.
Disappointing.
And Stan actually solved this too, probably.
What did you get?
Another nat 20.
Excellent.
Yeah, you and Stan rush through this room, immediately checking stuff off. This is the first time you've seen Stan in a military way. Like, in full plate, he walks in the room and immediately clocks, well, they could have come into the fireplace. That door's definitely been picked. You and Torek are on the same wavelength immediately.
Can I go and suss out the fireplace and see if it looks as though anyone's, like, climbed up it or climbed down it? Like, I assume a fireplace is covered in soot. Is there any scuffs of the soot?
Make me an investigation check.
That is 16.
On a 16, you don't see anything in particularly that's giving any impression of someone, like, climbing up or down. But when you do look, it looks as if it's been cleaned regularly for a long time. You don't see much evidence of fire being burned here actively.
And is it big enough? Like, could I climb up this chimney if I wanted to?
If you took your armour off, you would reckon you've got a good chance at getting to at least where you can see. Like, you don't... you can see sky, but it's a long climb.
Okay.
You're talking maybe a 50-foot drop.
Okay, so this would be a challenging exit or
Yeah.
entrance.
This would be a challenging entrance at best, and kind of unreliable if there was a fire down here. But yeah,
Okay.
you reckon it could be done, especially if someone was skilled. It could be done. Like if you
Okay.
took your armor off, you've got a good chance of doing it. It would tire you out, but you could do it.
It would be even easier if you'd missed your step though. Stan's just gonna chime in.
Well,
A lot of
the god
magic
does
in
seem
this
to have
world.
been, like, the lot does seem to have been picked, though.
Yeah. It is very suspicious. I think maybe we're saying that someone didn't use a key to get in here. And I'm going to kind of gather the gang without Edward. And I'm just going to say the note that was launched at you, Lubnub, was to meet someone. I know I previously said we should probably go and see the body, but if the church is already transporting it, if you guys think the church is dodgy, they might have already tampered with it. Do we want to go and meet your contact that's asking you to meet?
And
They were asking to.
yeah, and as they're saying someone's asking to meet, their last name was Grey. I think Stan and Love both think, well, we sent Dorian to go do a job.
Wait,
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we kind of really need to know what they've found.
I keep it quiet. So the Grey's pretty like impressive to the point
Of
where
reasonable importance.
Okay.
the reason I don't have any respect for the King's Guard is because they're people who failed to get into the Grey, and I have a friend in the Grey.
This is one of the
Okay.
first times you're hearing about this organization, Nyla. This is like you're not really from this city. You're here traveling. It's kind of the first time you're hearing of them. But
I'm just
Torek, you would be familiar-ish with the Greys. They are an organization of monster hunters.
Ah, yeah.
I'll nod and I'll kind of turn and say to Edward, okay, I think we've sussed a few things out. Obviously nothing's definite, but we think there was kind of forced entry.
Really? I didn't see. Oh yeah, no, yeah, there are marks. Yeah, no, yeah, on the door. Yeah, no, now that you point them out, yeah, I can see that. Yeah, sorry about that.
That's all right. These things happen. I assume we woke you up.
Yes.
Put it down to that.
Yes, I was in my pajamas not a moment ago.
We're going to head off. We have other leads to follow.
Very well.
But if you find anything, if you hear anything, I know you've said you've got your own spies on it. We've got a common goal. So if you hear anything that you think would benefit us, please don't hesitate to let us know. Our intention is to protect the new king.
If I were to send a message through Edward and Elwyn, would you be in contact with them at any point in the near future?
Most likely.
Oh,
very well. Excellent. Well, I'm off to bed. Good luck in your investigations.
Thank you. Good night.
Yeah.
Just as you're about to leave, the residuals on those two nat 20s, there is a sneaking suspicion in both of you. You get that, was it Columbo that does that and just one more thing moment where they're leaving and it's just one last thing. You look in here, you look around, you see the room, you don't see any secret entrances, you see that it's been packed. If you were dying of poison in here, it's weird that everything's still in the right place. Wouldn't he have moved around a little? How fast was the poison? That the room is still pristine. There's no sign of any scuffle. There's no sign of any... There's evidence of a break-in, and there's no sign of a scuffle.
Hmm.
There's evidence of a break-in, and there's no sign of any... There's evidence of a break-in, and there's no sign of a scuffle. There's evidence of a break-in, and there's no sign of a scuffle. There's evidence of a break-in, and there's no sign of a scuffle. I think that just on that nat 20, you're like, it's more what you don't find that starts to bother you.
And like, yeah, cool.
So, with them both hesitating, and Lubnub actually kind of paying attention a little bit now,
Yeah.
where the chair he's sitting on, or would have been sitting in, assumably, because it's a study.
Yeah, so there's the chair in front of the desk, and then there's a comfortable armchair where it looks as if he would have been reading books. Like, one for work, one for reading, kind of thing.
And do I get the sense that if I really put in the effort, I could sneak up on the armchair from the door without them seeing me?
It would be a real effort. Like, the armchair doesn't face the door, but it does face the fireplace, which is kind of like it would be in your peripheral. So the layout is, as soon as you walk in, you see like chair facing this way towards the wall. So like it would be in his peripheral if someone were to open these doors.
But someone could have like been waiting and hiding inside before.
Yeah, if they
King
picked
came
the
in
lock.
and then snuck up from behind.
Possibly.
Is there any like decanters or anything?
No. No sign of any food or drink in here at all.
Like, there's no sign of like he had like a little drinking table.
Nope.
And I want to know as well, is there sign of what the last thing he was reading at either the like, is there a book either at his study table or at his chair that has like a
The last thing
marker?
I'll give you on 2 nat 20s. There is no book on his desk. There is no evidence that anyone has been in this room really doing anything other than the fact that there was recently a break-in here. Like, you don't see a book out, you don't see any markers in any of the current books.
Could I try and tap into my background a little bit of kind of using ambush tactics?
Yeah, sure.
And could I run through two scenarios where one is that I've just came through the door,
Yeah.
and could I walk? It looks weird as fuck because he's not going to explain himself, but Lubnub is kind of
Yeah.
doing that sneak up behind the chair.
Yeah. Does
Kind
someone
of
want to
testing
sit?
the theory.
Does someone want to sit in the chair so that they can try and see?
I think, yeah.
I don't see why
Torik's
not.
Too shy.
So
Torik would love to, but too
Stan
shy
sits
now.
in the chair, and Lub, you try your best, but there is no way. If these doors were closed, upon opening them, Stan, you spot them opening 100 out of 100 times. Like, whatever happens here, always the door opening is an immediate, like, you see it happening in the corner of your vision.
Then instead, the second scenario Lub runs is that someone was already in the room, and I can have a look behind the armchair, because if I'm going to hide behind someone, or if I'm going to hide in a room, I want to make sure I'm hiding out of wherever their line of sight is going to be when I want to strike.
Yeah.
And is there some sort of check I could roll where I'm taking in what's in behind the chair, but would
I'll say
hide someone?
you can either give me a stealth roll just for your sort of overall ability to understand where hiding would happen, or survival for that ambush tactics type thing, depending on which is better for you.
They're exactly the same. So I think we're going to go from a survival aspect,
Okay.
and we'll see what the game says. That's a dirty 20.
Hey.
On a dirty 20, a man of your stature would have almost zero chance pulling this ambush off. Like, it's a regular size sofa. Like, picture a 6-foot man crouching behind a sofa as you enter. You're definitely going to spot that person
So creepy.
almost every time, unless they're magically concealed. That's not a viable place to hide. You do see that behind the desk, maybe someone could do, assuming the person wasn't going to sit at the desk, you could probably get away with hiding in the nook, like where the feet would go. Apart from that, looking at the chimney, you're like, well, if they didn't light a fire, someone could maybe wedge themselves there. It would take a lot of muscle control to wait there indefinitely. But if someone was planning this, knew where he would be, knew what time he would be there, it's possible. But then what happens? Someone is reading a book, looking at the chimney, and then someone scurries out from the chimney to attack them. That's
Still
not a
no
stealth
sign of
attack anymore.
scuffle.
Yeah. That's still not a stealth attack anymore so much as it is just attacking them from the chimney.
I think
I'm just going to ask Edward, is there anyone who's come already and maybe tidied this room? And I'm going to say to him, I'm going to say, because if someone died here, it looks a little unlived in and a little too pristine. Don't you think?
Well, I would imagine the servants clean it after he uses it every time, although I would imagine if a servant found the king's body, they probably wouldn't. I would imagine it's cleaned regularly.
Yeah, but I'm going to point out to him, I'm going to point out the reading pair and the lack of book.
Check. Make me an insight check.
Okay.
The king was found in here, wasn't he?
Oh, that's a nat 20.
Nat 20.
Ooh.
You're looking at a man that has, for his whole life, lived in a clean house, lived with clean clothes, and has never really thought to question how or why or when that happens. Like, you're fully looking at someone who has always had the benefits of a royal birth in a royal regiment, even though he's a trained knight, who probably, when he was a knight, or when he was a squire, would have had to look after someone's clothes and someone's armour. But even then, how much would you bully the king's son if you were their teacher? Probably not a ton. This man does not really understand who cleans what, when, and where.
Does he know who found his father's body?
No. On that insight, you know he's been told that this is where he's found it. But
he doesn't know the specifics.
Tommen was the one that got the note that said, from someone in the Hands of the Valley, tipped them off that it was here.
Someone in the Hands of the Valley told them that their father was killed here.
Yes, that this is where the body was found.
Well, I mean, unless someone was invisible, it's highly unlikely unless they cleaned up after themselves.
Someone just passed us a note that was invisible.
Was the door locked when the body was found?
I don't know.
I think at this point, Torek recalls Torek is biased against the church.
Mm-hmm.
Recalls that sentence that you said the Pope said, right?
Mm-hmm.
The whole, "Do not worry, child. This is all part of the plan."
Mm-hmm.
And I think with that put together, plus this weird thing that really feels like this is someone was bullshitted here. Someone has told these people, yeah, he was poisoned in the study. It seems like a throw off the scent type of thing, and I think I am with all of them having all of these theories. I probably Nyla again, where I'm just gonna walk up to you and be like,
Out of curiosity, you're hiding this from everyone or from Edward specifically?
Edward specifically.
Okay.
Anyone that's not part of this.
Yeah.
No
one's trusting
Ed.
Ed.
Check to be doing that.
Yeah.
I want you to say what you're gonna say, then make your stealth check.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. I think it's probably worth moving on. Yeah, that.
Okay.
That's an 18 stealth plus 5. 18 plus 5.
Edward is none the wiser as that happens.
Excellent.
So I'm just going to to the group. I think we have a meeting to attend then.
Yep.
Very well.
We're going to follow up other leads.
Excellent. Again, like I say, feel free to contact me whenever you feel like it. You know where to find me. I'll be next to Harold.
No problem. As like when we kind of part our ways and as we're walking, I'm going to tell them exactly what the note said, and I'm going to say I think we should head there, but I do think at some point we should come back and try to speak to the staff and find out if a maid or a servant did actually find a body there. Because surely if we speak to any servant, and I'm going to say this to the group, surely if we speak to any servant, surely if you were a servant and you found the king's body, or your friend found the king's body, the first thing you would do is get back to your barracks, your kind of sleeping area, and go, oh my god, you'll never believe what happened. If we speak to servants, we might get an insight into if this is true or not. But I think we need to go see your contact first. That's you seem urgent about this.
Yeah, they might slightly have a lead on things. We should probably get there reasonably quickly. I have no idea how long we spent investigating that.
As you rush off, it's fairly easy for you to get to the gate is a very broad spectrum, but given that there is an area of the city called the Grey Light Gate, guarded by the Greys, I feel like you probably put two and two together, and around an hour later rock up to the gate, and you stand around for a little bit, maybe a minute or so, before Stan, you feel a tap on your shoulder, and from fully behind you, from hiding, Dorian pops out.
Hello again.
Hello. I was expecting Zoak to be here as well.
No,
So are we.
mild busy.
Very well. He seemed the most competent, but I shall continue.
Don't worry, that's what we have Park for.
We are not yet acquainted. He holds out his hand very sort of stoically. Dorian Gray.
Nyla.
You're the first person to react to the name Dorian Gray.
Really, guys?
Yes.
Really?
As you...
Sometimes you hear it and you stay in character.
Yeah, that's
There
fair.
you go. There you go.
I'm not good at staying in character. I have to nervously react to everything that's said. Otherwise, I feel impolite.
Nyla. Oh, you must be the travelling wizard. I've heard of your armour.
Can't imagine why.
Well, perhaps...
You're a wizard.
Yes, you've not heard the tales of the travelling wizard that comes...
No, not really.
No? Well, there is rumour about the city that they are a great combatant, a fantastic warrior, martial as well as their skill with spells being unrivaled.
Oh, nice.
So, a pleasure to meet you. A true pleasure to meet you.
You as well. I have no idea why we're meeting, but
Well,
I'm here nonetheless.
I was asked to follow some people by order of the king and by order of Zoak, who I don't recognise their authority in general. However, their wisdom in this manner was without flaw. It is wise that they had me follow the general clergy as they left. As you're aware, as we were approaching the citadel, many of the holy men around the city we were expecting to cause hassle simply left. Zoak had me follow them to see where they went. The vast majority went back to their hometowns, their home base, which is the giant cathedral. A couple of them...
No.
Sorry, Stan?
God, not the church.
Not the church. Those damn clergy going to the church. How dare they? A couple of
It's
them
dangerous.
split off to go in a couple different places. I wasn't able to catch all of them. However, I did catch one of them as they headed towards the Hands of the Valley pub. Turns out that one of them was a spy. A spy for Aylwin, as far as I can tell.
I'm not sure.
Mr. Antera was in disguise as part of this. I watched them drop their magical image as they walked through the city, believing themselves unseen, I believe. They dropped their garb and guard and progressed into the Hands of the Valley pub. There they made a report to the bartender about what was going on. Perhaps more concerningly, the church was heading out prior to being notified. They knew where we would be prior to us showing up.
I mean, I did say the church was trying to kill the kid, so yeah, I'm not.
I can't see the angle. The kid is already a vastly more charitable case for them than the old man. The old man restricted their access constantly, tried to restrict their areas of the city, their areas of influence, tried to get them out of politics in general.
But surely that would make sense then as to why they would have taken him out to have an easier pawn in play.
I see that angle plain as day. What doesn't make sense is what they're talking about, which is that they would want to then kill Harold. As far as I'm concerned, Harold would be in no danger whatsoever if that was their plan.
I mean, didn't they declare that they were the new power while the king was missing?
Yes, but with Harold, they will essentially be that.
Yeah, they can just use him. Who has said that they're going to kill the kid?
That was Zuak's worry.
I don't share this worry with Zuak. Are you saying that your intel from the following that you've done, you still are of the sentiment that the church perhaps took out the old man so that the boy would be easier for them to control?
I feel like that is the most logical conclusion as to what is going on.
It's definitely them.
Glad you're on board.
I fully like. I haven't even introduced myself, and I just
And this spy who you saw, who had been within their ranks, went to the pub.
Yes.
I know them.
Mr. Antera.
Is this the man we were just told to perhaps speak to as well?
Yeah.
I think we found our next lead.
Very well.
Well.
I feel I must impart some final wisdom. I'm going back to the service of the royal family. I will be by Harold's side for the foreseeable future. The old man done one thing correct, and it was provide the Greys charitably to have my service be devoted away from the forest into guarding his sons.
Agreed.
The last piece of wisdom I will give is this. There are many aspects of this city that are beyond the comprehension of guests, and he nods to Nyla, and outsiders, and he nods to Lub and Toric, because you're also kind of an outsider. I suspect too that, Stan, you are perhaps not paying attention to the machinations of those other royal families and noble families.
I know about the tax guy Piss Pants. The people weren't happy with him. He also apparently works for the church.
Piss Pants. That's a good name.
Yeah,
I like that name for him.
Yes,
I'm
I
not
suppose it would be accurate to call him Piss Pants, as he did piss his pants less than a day ago.
It's a great story. I'll fill you in a second, Nyla.
The piece of wisdom is this. Just because the most obvious culprit has the most to gain does not mean that someone's standard for gain was not lower than that. Meaning, the church had the most to gain. But if someone else was willing to benefit slightly less, it does not necessarily mean that they were not just as guilty.
I'm gonna nod.
Check who his other enemies were.
Torek just, is not happy with that. And just backs away
I-
a little.
I would
like
like
the
to,
sound of this.
I would like to tell him as well, just to so that you're aware, if you're going back to Service of the Royals,
Mm-hmm.
it's very possible that it was genuine mistake, but we went with Edward to look into the study, which, to be clear, looked as though someone had entered it, like broken entered, but there was nothing out of place. However, Edward noted to us that he didn't think the door had been tampered with.
Mm.
And there does appear to be rivalry between the brothers.
Very well.
Which I know isn't uncommon, but still something to be aware of.
I must be honest in one thing. Edward can never rule. He doesn't have the eyes. No one would accept this. I can't see what he would have to gain. Perhaps, if he wanted to mould Harold a little more, but Edward is not in line of succession at all.
Do you really think, though, that that's the only thing that they have to care about?
Perhaps not, but I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
I'm gonna thank him, and I'm gonna say to the group, I'm gonna say, I know.
As you thank him, he says, just to clarify, you investigated the king's study. Why?
That's where we were told his body was found. Have you heard otherwise?
I had not heard where his body was found. Where did this information come from?
We were told that the Edward and Tommen specifically, was passed a note that detailed this.
So an anonymous note denoted something that seems factually
We're
difficult.
going to look further into this, see if it has any truth. But right now,
Very well. I will make my own investigations as best as I can while keeping guard on young Harold. Do you have anything else to ask of me, or shall I disappear?
no, just if you hear any more anything that contradicts the story we've been given, which is that he was poisoned without injury and was found in the study. If you hear anything else, reach out. Anything that contradicts it.
No problem.
Don't know if he was found without injury. The note didn't say if it was with or without arrow wounds.
Then you still want to go and see the body?
He might
Or
as
is it
well.
too late?
Apparently the church has it. Oh fuck.
Yeah, our leads are that we've got the church, which we don't like, which also have his body, or we look into other potential enemies, but we also have been outright told to go speak to someone called Nicholas that Lubnub knows.
So,
I think
as the
our,
day goes on, what choice do we make? Which of the leads do we want to go for?
If our turtle friend is joining us next time, then I think we should hold off on the church until next time.
Very well. So we head off to the Hands of the Valley pub.
Fine.
That's the non-body option, right?
It hurts to do that because if we wait, the body might get tampered with.
I think if the body's being tampered with, it's already done.
Yeah,
They've
probably.
already
It's been a
got
couple
it.
of days. I've already tried reanimating them and everything. It's been a couple of days. They'll be. How much more tampered
As
with can
Stan
it be?
says that, Torek, you have a vivid memory of 8 hours prior to now where you heard the reanimation has failed.
Oh, I missed that. For fuck's sake. Wait, what?
That was in your
Yeah.
in your intro.
In the
I
intro.
specifically said reanimation failed,
I didn't catch
and
that.
we're preparing for
God
for
damn.
a funeral.
The reanimation.
Because Stan just said it out loud, so I thought I'd remind you that you knew that info.
Well, I mean, if they could revive him, then he would be alive.
They said that they said the reanimation has failed.
The church?
Yes.
So they
yes.
were actively trying. to keep
So, yeah,
him
so the
alive.
church
They
wanted
talked
him
about-
back.
They spoke of a plan. It says them.
They spoke of a
understand
plan as in the
what did you say it's called again?
His radiance.
His radiance. Is there a
Yes,
is
but
there
if their
a
plan-
laboratory version of that?
You can come
if
up
their
with one if you'd like.
if their ideal plan involved reanimating the king,
I don't know.
Then-
They just he said the reanimation has failed, and then he said,
I will clarify. You heard that from the general buzz,
right.
not from Treslin. You
The
heard from
Togolon failed
Treslin
reanimation,
Yeah.
and then the radiance
said that
It's-
all of this is going to
do
plan.
not worry, all of this is going to plan.
it does certainly sound like they had something to do with it, but it doesn't mean that they were the only ones.
My God, is this going to be like that play, The Murder on the Orient Express, shown in theaters where everyone just gave him one drop of poison?
Showing in theaters 3 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really new. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if you guys hadn't seen it.
So,
Never heard of it.
As you're
Tempted
chatting.
to go back home, but
as you're
still
chatting,
stick around.
do we want to head off to the Hands of the Valley?
Yes, but I'll be back in a second, so you guys can continue if you wish.
No problem. As you head over to the Hands of the Valley, you all see, generally walking through the city, it is later at night, although for you guys, the pub is never closed. It is an inn as well as a pub, although they don't serve food or drink past a certain hour. They can be persuaded for guild members, which Lub would be counted as by proxy. As you
Way
walk in-
before we go in. Way before we go in.
Okay.
So this doesn't work because Jenna's not here for me to inform her character.
Okay.
But I turn to Stan. See that whole thing you were doing with Evelyn in the sewers? Don't do
Yep.
that again. Don't get me in more trouble.
Why? You done that with my boss,
Technically, I didn't do anything with your boss.
but you held me back.
When I held you back, I tried to move you forward. Look, I don't know how dangerous your boss is, but frankly, the person we're about to talk to is my supervisor.
My boss has trained the royal family in some grace.
Are you sure she's trained Grace?
Oh, I'd be surprised if she hadn't.
Roll me a history check, Stan.
Dirty
Roll,
20.
roll me an intelligence check as well, Lubnub.
Right, let's see what.
On a dirty 20, Stan, you don't really know. She's never really talked about that. Like, she's never specifically mentioned that she has or hasn't. And
So
I would
that's
be
an 8.
You had
8. Even on an 8, Lub, you love this group. Or at least you have a great deal of respect for this group. You know for a fact that there's one way to denote whether someone is in that group or not. And it's their last name. And if she did not have the last name Grey, she would not be training Greys.
So this Yzma, is she Yzma Grey?
Make me an
Question.
intelligence check, Stan, to see if you know her as anything other than Sir Yzma.
19.
19. Yzma's her surname. Her first name is Geraldine.
Why has she been going by Sir this whole time?
Because if you're knighted, you're always Sir,
yeah.
then your last name.
Fair enough.
No, it's actually Geraldine Yzma.
Then she's nothing to do with the Greys.
She trained the first Grey
I don't believe you.
before it became a thing.
No,
I do believe that.
I believe that as much as your cooking skills.
Ooh. Fucking
Oh, yeah.
shots fired.
I will. My cooking skills were appreciated by the royal family itself. I'm gonna get in there. I'm gonna get a job in there, and I'm gonna cook something everyone will love.
I turned to the new guy at this point. He's tried this before and it didn't work. But
I've tried this before, and royalty loved it.
just let me make introductions, and out of game when Jenna returned, Lubnub was going to ask her, "Look, can you do
I
the
will
talking
say,
part? Because I don't enjoy talking to Nicholas."
Nyla's still here. Once Jenna returns, we will inform her of this general conversation.
Also, quick question:
Yeah.
have I known Nicholas to be able to change shape before?
You've never heard of anything like that.
Motherfucker. Well, for the first bit of hesitation and we've seen in this story so far, Lubnub waits a sec and then enters the bar.
As you enter, you're greeted by the familiar bartender. There are a couple of them, but all of them know you by name, although they wouldn't really be introducing themselves to you unless you cared enough to ask specifically. In a world where you are the face of a crime organization, no one really wants to give people tons of info on themselves. So the bartenders tend to just be faceless, charming people who are trying their best to not make too much of an impression. And you also see, in the corner, deep in his cups, Raph. Just to fill Jenna in for a little second, Kieran, do you want to do a quick recap of what you've just said to Nyla and Stan?
So before we've entered the Hands of the Valley pub, I've stopped everyone outside, turned to Stan and said, "Look, see that thing you did down in the sewers with Evelyn? Please don't do that here."
Which was, for context, argued specifically with her, and her name's Aelin.
You don't
And
want
then-
us to argue with the lady elf.
Rather, you just didn't argue with anyone in general.
And they are humans.
Oh. I thought her and the man were...
Sorry, they're half-elves. Sorry, not humans.
Okay.
They're both half-elves.
And
They're
then-
Why that's what
twin
He then
half-elves.
turned to Nyla and said, "Look, I'll make the introductions and stuff, but can you do the talking to Nicholas? I don't enjoy talking to him."
Yes, do I need to know anything about him?
As this is happening, you watch Stan. He is as you walk in, you see the barman you see Raph in the corner. You've all had this conversation prior to that. You watch as soon as Stan enters, he squats down and starts like waddling his way behind the bar.
What?
You all may interject with that or not.
If he gets himself killed, I'm not taking anything to do with it.
Who's this guy you want me to talk to?
I'm going to look around, see if I can see Nicholas skulking in a corner somewhere.
Make me a perception check with advantage because it's a fairly empty room.
At advantage, it's a 2 or a 2. Almost a nat 20 though.
No, you don't see Nicholas anywhere in this room. You know that there is the bar and then there is the hideout underneath though. If you wanted to sneak, or not even sneak, just walk into the hidden area.
You know, I'll walk up to the bartender and I'll kind of nod in Stan's direction. Look, can you keep him busy for like 5 minutes?
You watch as behind the bar, he's got a very small portable stove that he's trying to cook something on, hidden, crouched behind the bar.
19 for it though.
Can keep him busy for 5 minutes, I'd appreciate that.
It smells delicious, what he's cooking as well.
Actually, I haven't had a good
All it
meal
took was
in
Love Nub
months,
insulting his cooking. Just something good.
He rolled a 19 on his cook check.
Then I'll gesture for Nyla and or
New
I
friend.
keep going to check your name and I see Tiso and I'm like, that's not the right one.
No.
Yeah, no,
Something else
Torek.
beginning with a T.
Torek.
Torek.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I'll see you as to kind of gesture for you to follow me.
Despite my stomach screaming for this good smelling meal, I do prefer investigation that may.
Oh, don't worry. I'm going to be trying to follow you to feed you.
Yeah, he's still on a full squat, waddling with this cooking gear resting on his lap. He's moving at half speed, but that is still 20 feet, so he's fine.
I'm following.
As you go down, you know that there is the sort of under pub, which is always a little busier at this time of night. You can see that all of the main people are in here. Edward and Aelin are not visible, but although you've seen Raph upstairs, he follows you down in with you. Not for any particular reason, not really talking to you about it, just kind of going down to the rowdier place. You can also see that there are some various lieutenants that Lub would not know the names of, but would recognise at face value to be like valuable-ish to the company. And then in the corner, without any need for a check, you can see that Nicholas is sitting there, just drinking, just having a pint to himself, with no one else at his table.
I kind of, because I've decided she's the talker, I kind of lightly elbow Nyla. That's who we're going to be talking to.
Again, is there anything I should know about this man? I only know his name.
He's my supervisor. As in, when I go work, he makes sure the books. I don't know.
And just to be clear, and I'm saying this in a very, very hushed tone, you mentioned previously you don't actually want to be in this employment.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's go speak to him.
You say that. Can I put my hand on your shoulder?
I'm gonna turn. Yes.
Please don't cause trouble.
Make me an insight check, Nyla.
Okay.
In that one. You get the feeling that you know Lub. It's clearly sarcasm. When was the last time? When was the last time he's not wanted a fight? Like, this makes no sense in any other capacity. You know what I mean? Like, the orc that's constantly looking for a fight takes you to an underground rowdy pub and is like, hey, don't cause trouble. Like, he's not good at it, but that was an attempt at sarcasm.
Okay. I give you a real nod. Like a nod of understanding.
Thank you.
No problem.
A save with Keenan's heartbreaking.
Stan, what were you trying to say there?
I just waddle up to Lub, pat his shoulder while still keeping an eye on food and go, remember when she was straight up shit talking me to my boss? What do you think we should do to you?
I'd hope that she would listen, since I'm
You go
keeping
for
something valuable of hers.
You go for that, bud. I would waddle away a wee bit.
What you cooking, Stan, out of curiosity?
You know what? What ingredients did the bar have?
Mostly booze. Mostly booze. It was a bar.
That is true, but you said that they did occasionally make...
You did have all the ingredients for cheese balls randomly last time, so I guess just like flour and cheddar and water. And probably butter.
I'll make a roux with what? A winey roux.
You're just making like
some
white wine cheese sauce.
Yeah, but like crisp it so it's like a cookie.
Excellent. You watch him make basically cheesy wine crackers for God knows what reason. Torek, you're no longer feeling as hungry.
No, I'm not.
It will take. You gotta trust me. Cheese and wine goes well together.
Yeah, no, honestly, actually, Torek, it's just
probably
hungry.
Wouldn't care.
Yeah, has definitely eaten worse.
So, Nyla, as you approach, Nicholas nods toward you and nods towards the seats in front of him at his table.
I sit.
Hello, Nicholas. Traveller. I see you've brought with you my friend. And he smiles towards you in like a wicked grin.
Hello, Nicholas.
Lubnub.
Yeah.
How are we this evening?
Work's been quiet.
Yes. It's been a while since we've last met. I've been off with Aelin doing some recon on this mission. It is my understanding that you are now to be brought into that fold. Is that correct?
More or less.
Wonderful. So, how can I help?
What have you heard so far? What's happening?
Many and more things, I hear. But the important notes are that I've heard that the king is dead by the hand of poison. I've heard that there are rumblings that the church had some plan in it, or some hand in it, I should say. The Minister of Finance has been bullied and humiliated. That was a key note that I believe I can thank some of this party for.
There's a genuine look of like, who? Oh yeah.
Yeah. I hear that Deepwater has been making a fuss recently. Something about his daughter. Other than that, no one's really making much rumblings.
And you think that has something to do with the king's death?
There are a lot of rumblings going on in general.
You're very vague.
It is hard to tell what is... At this point, it's hard to tell what is relevant and what's not. As far as we know, poison. The reason I bring up Deepwater is something about his daughter being involved with some demonic ritual.
Just a casual demonic. That's very big thing that you didn't mention initially, but thank you. We'll hopefully follow up with that. Have you heard any word on where the king's body was found or by whom?
No, not to my knowledge, although I haven't checked in with Aelwyn for a while. She's been busy. She tends to go deep when she goes undercover.
Do you suspect she'll show face here anytime soon or anywhere else that we might find her to?
She keeps her own company and counsel most of the time. If she appears anywhere, it will be by my side.
And would you tell her that we
Are looking
would
for her?
appreciate a word?
Sure. Next time I see her.
And do you have anything else you think would be of importance to us? We're trying to solve this with you. Do you have anything that you want us to follow up?
I do, in fact, have some use. There are rumours, like I said, of this demonic ritual. I believe that it's unrelated, but it would be nice to have concrete evidence. If you would
So you'd like us
at-
to follow up?
Does he look at me when he says that?
He does, Lub.
Does just like
You know what to do.
Deepwater, isn't that the place I'm from?
Yes.
I'm living in.
Deepwater is the name of the place that you're living in, but he seems to be referring to a person with that name.
Have I ever heard of this person?
You would know that there is a ruling class family in that area. You don't know of the people specifically, but Deepwater is where the ships are built, and Deepwater is also the shipwright of the city. He's a member of the Royal Council. But you don't know anything about his first name. You wouldn't have heard of him or interacted with him in any meaningful way.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell him that we can follow that up.
I will say, Nyla, you remember the name Deepwater.
Yet, you refer to my notes. I don't remember anything.
Do I know anyone who would have contacts with
the Deepwater?
Okay.
They're a member of the Royal Council, so anyone in nobility would know who
Right.
they are.
But like any of my people in my surroundings that
Probably not.
work for.
They're a very secretive family.
Okay.
You could always
Oh,
ask
for God's!
dear old
Oh no. Okay.
Oh, that's phenomenal to hear.
Yes, we'll follow.
This is fun to hear.
Yeah.
My character in game has a realization moment and goes, "Oh, okay. We will certainly follow that up. We'll make it a priority."
What do I need to know about this guy?
There is another thing. The Silvertons are currently the head of the city guard. Tyroch Silverton is the King's Justice, or rather was the King's Justice. I hear Harold is going to be choosing a new executioner. It seems like an odd first step to be making as king.
Who is he changing it from?
That I don't know.
Okay.
He says the Silvertons. Does that, once again, is that like a bell ringing inside my head?
No.
And me?
No.
Oh no, that was Matt's thing.
The Silvertons?
Matt remembered a Silverton. You remembered a Stoneheart.
Right,
Would
but
good
about
old
this,
Stan remember a Silverton?
You probably met Tyroch a couple times. He is a dwarf. He's the king's executioner. So anyone that commits any act of treason, something that would be punishable not by the city itself, but specifically someone who commits a crime against the king or someone close to him, if he chooses to press charges and those charges are death, Tyrock is the man that takes the head. And sometimes that can be publicly, and sometimes that's he will accompany a large garrison of guards and will kill whoever is in their way. Like, it is literally sometimes he's the public executioner, and sometimes he's the guy that the king sends in and is like, well, SWAT team style, this guy's holed up in here, go kill it.
So this Deepwater guys, or anything I need to know?
The family has been shady for a while. The patriarch, Sir Mandalay Deepwater is his name, and he earned the name Deepwater as a sailor. He was a common-born man, took the name Deepwater because of the sailing, chose to become a shipwright instead of a knight. He is essentially captain of the King's Navy. The man was nothing from dirt and happened to be a very good sailor in the right place at the right time. Perhaps by luck, perhaps not. Most of the nobility disliked the family. You know how
What
old
about-
money can be.
What about the Hands of the Valley?
What about the Hands of the Valley? We are not associated with the Deep Waters in any particular way.
That's all I needed to know. Oh, and another thing. Is there a bar down here?
Oh yeah, you can get booze here.
If I can, I gesture for someone to bring some booze over.
Yeah, absolutely. You hold up your hand and someone comes over. Right, pal, what can I get you?
Whatever he's having, give him 2.
2 pints. Yeah, fair play. Anything else for anyone else? Alcohol, booze, he points at the table.
No.
A
2 for
napkin
him.
to spill up whatever the hell that guy's just burnt.
What?
It's not burnt, it's
Stab.
crisping.
Oh, right, sorry.
Very well, it's crisping.
No, 2 pints for Nicholas, please.
Very well. He wanders off and gets 2 pints. You don't see any need for gold involved.
Oh.
Any
Actually,
rumours that
on
I
his
need to watch
return
my
with the
back to
pints.
deal with this?
On his return with 2 pints.
No, actually. Sorry.
I push the 2 pints over to Nicholas, and as I do, any word that I need to watch my back from this? What did you call him? Finance prick? Piss pants. Oh no, you weren't there for that. You wouldn't get it.
Well, from context, I understand someone pissed their pants, but I do need to know who before I can give you any.
That finance guy you said earlier.
The Minister of
Stoneheart or
Finance,
whatever.
Henry Stoneheart. I'm surprised, Lubnub. You don't remember? You're well
His name?
acquainted. You're well acquainted with his wife's cousin.
He looks at Lubnub and there's just a blank look. It's like, no, I do not know this person.
He downs both the pints one after the other, stands up a little wobbly, and puts his hand on your shoulder. You killed the man, Lub, and walks off.
I'm going to follow right after him and guide him and say to him, can we sit again for a minute? And I'm guiding him to a different table so that he will sit with just me. Like, I want to specifically, if there's a 2-seater table,
Sure,
that's
yeah.
the one I'm pointing him to.
I presume Lub just sits there and contemplates for a second or two about trying to remember who he killed at some point.
He does go through a list of people he's... Well, we've not exactly established how much Lub has
Yeah.
done damage-wise in this city. But he is contemplating, like... Stoneheart.
Was it that
Cousin.
one? Was it that one?
As you
I
sit
think-
down at your private table, what would you like to say, Nyla?
I'm going to sit down and I want to ask him, I want to say, Nicholas, I'm wanting to check. I'm unclear on Lubnub's employment
And what
circumstances.
He is a valuable, violent soldier.
And under contract with yourself, is that correct?
No, not quite. I am merely his handler. Make me an insight check as he's sort of talking.
That is 17.
17. You get the sense that he finds the situation funny. Like, he's a little drunk. He's maybe not the nicest person in the world. You get the sense that something sinister is being spoken about and you don't quite get it. Like, there's a joke that he knows that you don't, and you don't like the man's general countenance about it.
I don't, but I want to kind of present myself as quite mean-spirited. Like, I want to kind of pretend that I'm joining in with this. I think this is funny and I'm agree. Like, I'm kind of going on with him.
Okay. You can make me either deception or performance.
Okay. 23 for performance.
Excellent. So what do you say?
I'm going to just kind of laugh along as I'm going. I'm going to go, yeah, it seems as though maybe employment isn't really the term. Maybe that's a bit more of a PC term than we should be going with.
Yeah, one could say.
And I know the tasks that you're dulling out, he's receiving payment for, much to his dismay. It's an added punishment.
In a manner of speaking, he's receiving payment.
And I'm wondering, his distaste for money, and this is me prying. I'll be entirely honest with you, and I'm trying to kind of keep it funny and lighthearted to kind of keep him happy while I'm saying this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say I'm prying entirely into your business, but it's interesting if nothing less. The money isn't necessarily going to him, it's going to someone else, or he's doing it to repay something that he owes. Yes?
He leans in. Your performance was very good. Your charisma is very good. The man's a little drunk. And he leans in, just like wobbling slightly as he does. He owes us no gold. We've made a fortune off of his debt collecting. We pay him maybe 1%. He doesn't even want that. There's no way we'd let him go. We'd be stupid to.
So you're just keeping him because you can.
Why the hell wouldn't we? Wouldn't you?
I'm going to really turn the tables on this man, and I'm going to kind of look at him a bit more seriously, and I'm going to go, he's already working for me. And I'm just going to smile and get up and walk away, because he technically is. He's keeping something safe for me.
Yeah.
He's already doing work for me, and I don't pay him anything. I'm going to turn back and...
You get a sense that he is basically unfazed. Like, his organization makes a fuck ton of money off of this guy. Like,
but that was what I got. What I wanted to know.
Yeah.
I wanted that information.
Yeah.
I just want to be a little spiteful.
Absolutely. Yeah. He
I'm
sort of
gonna
sits
turn.
there. He just sort of sits there for another minute or so, sort of swaying, and then he stands up to leave.
Before it goes, can I give him a wine cracker with cheese on it?
Sure, he eats it. Like, he just basically accepts it, feels the texture, and eats it. And again, the alcohol is kicking in here, but he takes a bite and just like, damn, that is good. And he walks off nibbling it.
How do I pronounce your character's name, Dion? Toric.
Yeah.
I'm going to go over to Toric, and then very, very hushed, I'm going to say, if you can speak to your rats or control them, it would be really nice if they took a shit or a piss in his drink. And I'm gonna look back at Nicholas.
He seems to be wandering off, like, out the pub. Like he's had his drinks for the night.
He frequents here.
Yeah, he does.
Regularly. Whenever he's here, really.
I'm gonna nod with a grin, and yeah, I've named them. I'm gonna turn to, let's go for lizard, and speak with animals.
Yeah.
And yeah, tell him to follow this man to his house and
try and piss in
try
every
and
drink.
piss or shit in his and whatever drink he has when he gets home.
Yeah. Lizard sort of looks up and it's like, I won't get caught.
I'll make sure you don't.
Okay.
Wait.
God, he's off. You say wait, and he sort of like on a. You watch Nyla as basically there are some squeaks in a very rattish fashion, and then the rat scampers off, gets about 5 feet away on like a wall somewhere, and is like looking back at Torek.
I'm gonna tell him make sure he's fast asleep.
Okay. And then I'll go back to the sewer.
And then yes, come back and wait for me at the sewer.
Okay.
I 100% miss all that, as Lobnob is in deep concentration, going through this list of people trying to figure out which one it is.
Make me a history check with disadvantage.
I'm so scared for Lizard. You had no right to make him sound that cute.
Disadvantage is free.
Disadvantage 3. You're like not coming up with anyone in particular, dude. This is
Too many.
Yeah, you've killed a lot of people in a lot of places.
Right. Anyway, where are we going?
Nowhere till you try my cooking.
Well, we're going to
Makes you happy, Stan.
we're going to speak to a woman. I nibble on a cracker.
As you all try a cracker, they are surprisingly, almost annoyingly pretty good.
I'm tempted to cast Purify Food and Drink on it. Because he just gave it to a guy that they apparently do not like.
Yeah, true.
I think I am going to do that, actually.
Yeah, you watch as Torek sort of mutters over the food in a brief sort of, not quite prayer, but sort of just a general muttering over it. And the food has a slight change colour. And then when you try it, yeah, I mean, it's, you rolled a 19 on cooking, like it's pretty good for just a cheese cracker.
With wine?
Yeah.
Sure it is. Yeah, I have it.
Yeah, no, you purified the poison out of it.
Good.
But yeah, I'm gonna
No,
just nibble on the cracker, say that we're gonna go and speak to the deep waters, I guess. Well, that's our next kind of lead that we're gonna go to before we get to the church, because as far as I'm concerned, everyone who tells me that they've heard someone's really mad at the church, it's mostly our little turtle friend who is not with us.
As you are leaving, Raph sort of nods to you on the way out, Lub, to try and get your attention. Just sort of gestures like a pull back of the head as if to say, come speak.
Look, you guys, if you wait for me outside, I have some business.
Can you give Raph a cracker?
I'm going to be feeding crackers to the rats if the rat catcher lets me.
I'll
No,
put a
they're filled
hand
with wine.
I'll put a hand on Stan's shoulder. I take back my earlier comment. You seem to actually be a good cook when you don't work with fish.
Thank you. I was trying something new that time. And
I
you
didn't know
what you
that, and I
did.
apologize for the criticism. And I will take as many crackers as he wants me to take the RAF.
You may give Raph. You and Raph may share half of the crackers on the pan.
So you get 3 crackers.
We have some for the rats, though, right?
Yeah, the other half.
I take the crackers over to Raph and I'll sit down.
He takes a cracker and in one huge bite, just poof. Raph is a Goliath even bigger than Stan, so it is just truly one big bite. It's quite nice actually.
The chef seems to be paying off.
Yeah.
Don't taste anything. Don't let him cook fish for you.
That was an oddly good investment to have a chef in this strange investigation group. Anyway, Lub, I gotta say, I was happy with your work last night. You cleared out that tunnel really well. I know you don't particularly care about getting hurt or getting paid, but I want you to know that Edward has taken note. If you come out of this unscathed, I want you to know that I'm putting in a word with Edward about finishing up your debt.
Okay. I was kind of hoping that's what I was going to make a push for.
I just thought it would be good for you to hear it from me, especially. I know we've worked together a couple times. You've more than paid us back, as far as I'm concerned. Edward is open for the conversation. And I think if you could impress Aylwin in this particular aspect of a job that you've not been doing previously, you could come out of this out of the game.
Okay.
There are rumours that there are raiding parties near the city. Orcs, giants, maybe 2-3 days march from here. If you wrap this up fast, you might be able to catch one of them.
I'll offer him an arm.
He'll do the sort of Spartan shoulder grab of the forearm shake. It's been good working with you, bud. I wish you all the best.
Likewise.
As he goes to shake your hand, he pulls you in and whispers in your ear so that no one else can hear, and says, "Keep an eye on Aylwin. She's been acting weird lately." And then lets you go.
I give him a nod.
On that note, I think we're going to call it for tonight, guys. On a rat leaving to go shitting some food.
I'm so worried about that poor creature.
Lizard will be
My
fine.
character up until now had absolutely no direction in life, and now has a direction.
What is
But
their
owning
direction?
Lubnub.
Oh, you'll find out.
I like the ominousness of that. Oh, you'll find out.
Is it
If anything happens to
Is it-
that rat, I'm
the
burning
top
the
to
city
everyone?
down.
That's part of my direction. I have 2 things that I care about now in this entire city.
Cute little lizard.
And all the other rats.
And then all the other rats.
I only named 5.
She's not saying it, but the second one is actually the church.
No, my character could not care less about the church or the murdered king.
Love's definitely got a good reason to pack this up now. Yeah?
Yeah. It's pretty motivated.
Love might get freedom if he finally wraps this up. So,
Come on, gang, we've got a mystery to solve.
come on, gang, we've got a mystery to solve.
Let's split
Excellent.
up and look for clues.
Let's split up and look for clues. The best thing that
This was a more successful investigation than any we've done in the other game. I rolled so well on a lot of that, man.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you all got a lot of good stuff out of that. key performance checks at the end there as well, trying to get info from the spy right-hand man. You got good rolls on all the investigations. Good, satisfying way to run a session, guys. This is going well.
Good rolls at
Tiso would have loved
cheese
this.
and wine crackers.
Good rolls
I mean,
on cheese
Lubnub
and
does
wine
wish there was
crackers.
more murder in the mystery, but he can work with this.
So that's the episode name, guys. Good rolls on cheese and wine crackers.
Cheese
Yeah.
and wine crackers, it should just.
I enjoyed my one. It was a great roll.
Yeah, you sticking your nose in it immediately to work out whether this was going to be hassle or not. Loved it.
Yeah, that was beautiful. I'm so worried. I'm so worried.
How are you feeling about you having killed a cousin of the Minister of Finance and not remembering and then bullying him previously?
Wait, isn't it a cousin
Oh.
of the wife?
It feels fan-fucking-tastic. Like, I was going to say to, what's your character's name again?
Torek.
Torek. I keep going to call you Tarek. So, Torek. I was going to say, while me and Torek are left at the table alone, I probably turn to them and I'm like, so how do you feel knowing that there's probably people being paid to at least intimidate me?
Wait, I missed the first part of that sentence. How do you feel about what?
People being
How do you-
paid.
Oh, people being paid.
Like, he's essentially asking, how do you feel about the fact that there's people out that might be trying to kill me, might be trying to beat me up?
Out of politeness, Torek's response is, that's not ideal, but has no real
Context.
context or worry about it, really. Like, not in a way that concerns me.
It's amazing that we have the same attitude about my problem.
Yeah.
Nice, yeah. Okay.
So, on that note, it was wonderful having you guys here, and to our live audience, it was wonderful seeing everybody live. I noticed that Tilk was in the chat again. Hopefully I've not missed you if you're still watching. Fantastic. Thanks for checking in on us, bud. Yeah, have a great night, guys. Catch you all same time next week with
Not next week,
Got
no?
raid.
possibly Terraria,
Oh, right. Yeah.
if people wouldn't talk over me. Rude behaviour.
We're
Possibly
allowed-
Terraria, and then possibly something else, we'll see, but most likely Terraria. And then the following week, we'll be back to Greydrop again for another investigation on our lovely royal
You guys
family.
have to wait 2 weeks every time.
Yeah, man. 2 weeks every time, dude. Yeah. Catch you all later, guys. It was a pleasure having you all. Bye.